Play-by-play action. We are Wildcats Radio 1290. Live from the CNWT.
From the what?
Central Northwest Tucson. Duh.
It's DK on the Sports Tip with your host, David Kelly.
Radio. Just when I thought I was out, they drug me back in.
Featuring J.W. Madden.
Don't tell me about flip-flops, man. I'm a native.
And Cricket getting you home with traffic and weather.
Camp on Melt Lemon, not in the left lane on the freeway.
Here we go! And now, a man who has not one, but three first names, David Scott Kelly.
And a great Tuesday afternoon to you. A full show today. This will be our only full show of the week because we will continue to bring you Women's College World Series softball this week. You had a chance, if you've been with us all day, to hear the game that took place in Oklahoma City, the elimination game, the winner-take-all bracket final, bracket A final. It looked for a little while like Florida was going to end the reign of the Oklahoma Sooners. Sooners were down in this ball game. They were down 2-0. They were down 4-2. They would battle back. They would tie it at 4-4, and then the game went to extra innings, and great teams just find a way to great team.
Here's Rothrock's 2-1. Swinging a high fly ball, left field deep. Otis back at the wall, and it's gone! It's gone! Jada Coleman has sent Oklahoma back to the championship series. A walk-off solo home run the opposite way, and the Sooners win it 6-5. Oklahoma has done it again. For a sixth straight year, the Sooners are back in the championship series. It'll be Oklahoma and Texas with the national championship on the line.
Well, and that's how good Oklahoma softball is. Jada Coleman, one of the best ever to do it. She knows how to win. She was not seeing the ball great earlier in the game. She makes adjustments as well as anyone in the country. And when her team needs it most, she gives them an opposite field home run to put them ahead, to win this game, to send them into the title game once again.
Boy, it only seems fitting, doesn't it, that if Oklahoma was going to win a game like this, it would be one of their seniors that delivered.
Yeah, so much for the new teams and new titles and all of that. Oklahoma will have a chance to win yet another one, their fourth in a row, and Texas is back right there with them, the two teams that are exiting the Big 12 as the Wildcats arrive and headed to the Southeastern Conference. Man, Southeastern Conference softball is just going to be off the charts the next few years.
That every SEC team made the tournament this year? Every single SEC team. That's what they said on the broadcast today. And they're adding Oklahoma and Texas.
Is that right?
That's right.
I didn't know every single one.
Well, they're talking about how deep, and they've always been talked about how that's the best league in the nation.
And we're talking
softball, but they haven't gotten the titles to show it. And here you got Texas and Oklahoma joining them next year.
Yeah. Whew, man, that's going to be something. So Texas and Oklahoma for the national championship. We'll have it here on Wildcats Radio 1290. Game 1 tomorrow, Game 2 Thursday, Game 3 if necessary on Friday. So we may have a full show on Friday if there is no Game 3. 4:45 will be the start times on those broadcasts. So shorter shows tomorrow and Wednesday. Tomorrow and Thursday for sure. And then we'll see how Friday plays out.
Ready for this? All 13 teams from the Southeastern Conference were selected to compete in the 2024 NCAA Division I Softball Championship. This marks the fourth time that all 13 teams were selected.
Wow.
Fourth time.
That's I would not have known that had happened once before.
So that's like the 13th team in the SEC is better than the fifth team in the Pac-12 is what they're saying, right?
Yeah, I guess so. And hey, and again, kudos. That's why I say kudos to Arizona softball. I mean, they've had to go 2 of the 3 years of the Caitlin Lowe regime, they have had to go to SEC regionals and win, and they've done so. They went to Missouri 2 years ago, and they won. They went to this year to Fayetteville, and they won. And then they had to go to not only did they have to go to SEC regional in 22, but then they had to go to an SEC super regional on the road and win at Mississippi State. So they've been up to those challenges when they've had to go and do those things in SEC territory. Unfortunately, they went to their future rivals in the Big 12 this year and could not get it done. But, yeah, those are good. In the SEC, they've learned how to play softball over the course of the last 15 years. They do it very well, and Oklahoma and Texas only going to make that a stronger conference. Speaking of Texas, Texas has taken Arizona's golf coach, Arizona's women's golf coach. Laura Ianello announced today as the new head women's golf coach at the University of Texas after 14 seasons here at the University of Arizona. This one makes me sad just because Laura is just an incredible young woman. Had a chance to be, she came into McHale Center as an assistant right when I was starting there. I think it was maybe the year after I got there. She came in as an assistant and then took over as the head coach. So I've been there. I've seen her do it. She is a fun person to cover, always very welcoming. That is a coach definitely we are going to absolutely miss here at the University of Arizona. I've had a chance to get to know her husband a little bit. The wife and I, on occasion, have gone and hung out at the pool at Omni Tucson National, and Laura and her family have a membership there, so we've run into Laura at the pool on occasions during the summertime when we go to lounge and relax, and have gotten a chance to know her and her husband a little bit, and just great couple with two awesome kids, and they're going to be very much loved down there at the University of Texas. Chris Del Conte, obviously the athletics director down there, the former executive here, associate executive in the athletics department at the University of Arizona. So I'm sure he's very, very familiar with Laura Ianello as well. And so she will head out, and Desiree Reed-Francois now has a second hire to make in her first 6 months here as the athletics director at the University of Arizona. 3 Final Fours in 4 years and a national championship for Laura Ianello with that golf program. She did a tremendous job.
Similar role, right? In replacing the swimming and diving coach, long legacy, great history here at the University of Arizona. Clearly, women's golf, one of the best programs in the country. I can't imagine there isn't a long list of people who would love to be in that position, DK.
There's going to be. So Desiree Reed-Francois will have her work cut out for her to find that replacement to begin this era of the Big 12. Wildcats baseball, obviously, their season came to an end over the weekend. It's all that's left is track now. Track will open competition at the NCAA championships tomorrow, and I believe pretty much all 6 of the guys are competing tomorrow. And if they don't advance, then that's it. If they don't advance past tomorrow, quarterfinal rounds and into the semifinals, then this athletics year officially will have come to an end. This Pac-10, Pac-12 era of Arizona athletics will officially have come to an end. And it's going to be difficult for track. They've got some obviously they've got some very quality kids that they've got there. Travion White Austin will compete in 3 events, the 4x100, the 100, and the 200. They've got that 4x100 team. They've also got a young man running in the 400-meter hurdles. But unfortunately, none of those events are the Wildcats even top 10 in the country right now. And you've got to make the final 8 in order to get a chance to score. So it's going to be very difficult for Arizona to score on the men's side, and obviously they're not sending any women, so they won't get any points on the women's side. So right now, as it stands, it looks like there might only be 11 teams that score this year on the NCAA level for the Arizona Wildcats. That's half your eligible teams in the Directors Cup. That's not exactly what you want. I've said for years, 13 is kind of, you got to have a minimum of 13. 16 gets you into the top 25 generally, but 11 is going to be, I don't want to say this is going to be the worst year. I'm not ready to say that because you did have some strong postseason appearances in the spring. Tennis went to the Sweet 16. Women's softball went to the Sweet 16 Super Regionals. So you're going to get some quality points there. But obviously baseball fell short. And you're probably not going to get any points from either your track programs, which traditionally you do. So is this going to be a top 40 program at the end of the year? That's going to remain to be seen. It's going to remain to be seen. So we can dive into all of that. Had an interesting back and forth with someone on Twitter last night regarding the gymnastics program. We can talk about that as well. 520-848-1290. 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. As we come to this official end of this fiscal year, it's still technically a month left, but all the athletics could be done here in just a few days. And we'll kind of digest what this year has been for Arizona Wildcats athletics. An interesting tweet was out yesterday, and that's kind of when I began, going over and looking at everything. The Big Five, I categorize it as the Big Six, the Big Six athletic sports on the NCAA level. You've got football and on three men's, three women's, football and volleyball in the fall, men's and women's basketball in the winter, baseball and softball in the spring. The Wildcats were one of just, I believe it was 5 teams, I'll have to pull the tweet up, who had at least 5 of those 6 programs this year make the postseason. So that is good. The Wildcats were pretty solid in the Big Six. Volleyball obviously had a rough year. New coach with Tarita Stubbs, so she's going to have to quickly turn that around. Actually, there were 10 teams. So they were one of 10 teams that qualified for the postseason in 5 or all of the Big Six. You want to venture to guess, J-Dub, who some of those other 10 teams were?
That made all of them?
That either made 5 of their football, women's volleyball, men's basketball, women's basketball, baseball, softball, 5 or all 6 made the postseason.
Well, I mean, Texas,
9 other schools.
Texas and Oklahoma have to be like my first 2 picks. They just did softball. They've got very good.
Texas is one of them. Surprisingly, Oklahoma is not. Oklahoma has only had 4 of those teams make the postseason.
Baseball probably not, huh?
Yeah, they're not great in baseball.
Let's see. I would maybe guess. Let's see. North Carolina's obviously really good. Stanford's really. It's those schools that are traditionally at the top. I think to me, Stanford's football and basketball is way down, so they can't be in it right now. 5 of the 6, I would say, yeah, North Carolina. Maybe Michigan.
North Carolina did not. They only had 4. Michigan, am I even seeing Michigan on this list? Michigan does not play softball. They're decent in softball. Yeah, I'm sorry. Michigan is on this list. They had 3.
3.
They had 3 make it.
So I got 1. What are the other 9?
So of the teams that made all 6, there are 3. Texas, Texas A&M, and Tennessee were the
Tennessee.
3 that made all 6 postseasons: football, women's volleyball, men's and women's basketball, baseball, and softball. And obviously, I'm thinking of North Carolina State had teams that went to both Final Fours.
Yeah, I mean, Texas has been. They won. I mean, Texas is the only team other than Stanford to even win the Directors Cup.
They're probably going to win, yeah.
Recently.
Exactly. Well, yeah, recently. Yeah, and I think they're probably going to be the team that wins this year.
Yeah.
Of the teams that made 5, Duke, Florida State.
Yeah, Duke sneaks up because I don't ever think of Duke as, like, for instance, a football program, but they are. They really
went
are
to a bowl
now.
game this year.
Yeah.
Their baseball team was really good. Their softball team was also very good. Obviously, they're really good in men's basketball, and I would think, just off the top of my head, women's basketball might have been the one they did not make.
They're okay in men's basketball. Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
The other four, Arizona, obviously, I said made 5. Oregon, Alabama,
Oregon.
Auburn, and Kentucky.
Kentucky, again, like same with Duke. I don't think of Kentucky, but their football program has really come around, obviously.
Yeah, and obviously their baseball is, I think they're the number 2 seed. So they're really, really good in baseball. And they're decent in softball, though I think that might be, I'm thinking that might be the one sport they didn't make it, because I think they're better in women's volleyball than they are in softball, but I could be wrong on that. So those were the 6 and the 5, the teams that made 5. Just for giggles, the teams that made 4, Clemson, North Carolina State, North Carolina, Baylor, Iowa State, Kansas, Oklahoma, Nebraska, Florida, Georgia, LSU, and South Carolina. So some of the teams you're going to be competing with coming up, obviously Kansas, Iowa State, Baylor, all on that list as you head to the Big 12. But again, the Wildcats, in terms of the Big 6, the only future Big 12 program that had 5 or 6 make the postseason.
Yeah, you said only 11, they got points in, but at the top, as we talked about a couple months ago, in the revenue-generating sports, Arizona did quite well this year.
Top heavy this year. It's the Olympic sports, but what I'll say is, again, and we'll get to this, we'll get further into this, the Olympic sports are generally what has held up this program. And so you want to continue to be good in that middle to bottom end. And we'll dive more into that as we go today, as well as into the summer, as we begin to turn the page on the Pac-12 and get into the Big 12. All right, 520-848-1290. Much coming up for you. We're going to talk to Brian Jeffries and get his thoughts on the end of the baseball season and the end of this run in the Pac-12 and Pac-10. We'll talk to BJ, as well as Michael Lev is going to join us on the show today. We'll get his thoughts on Arizona baseball and more. It's DK on the Sports Tip. J-Dub is here. Cricket is getting you home every 20 minutes on the 5s with your traffic and your weather.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. With collisions that are reported, Cortero and I-10 reported on Cortero at I-10. Crash at Kolb and Broadway Boulevard and Kolb Road. And also roadwork southbound Country Club approaching Glen affected. Also no left turns permitted from Country Club onto Glen. And 71, the low, sunny 104 tomorrow, an excessive heat warning in effect from 10 a.m. Thursday through 8 p.m. on Friday. 99 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Wendy's. Order a biggie bag at Wendy's today. When you think of your go-to meal, what do you think of? Because if it's not the Wendy's biggie bag with your choice of JBC or crispy chicken sandwich plus 4-piece nugs, junior fries, and a small soft drink, Wendy's biggie bag hits every time. So stop by and grab your ride or die meal. U.S. price and participation may vary.
Remember, if you listen to the Jim Rome Show, you were listening to 1290.
It's on the up and up. It's all straight, and that's how that is.
Tucson's home of the Jim Rome Show. He's also your home of the NFL. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
Think of waking up with energy, standing tall and feeling free. Think First Chiropractic, good health is to enjoy.
First Chiropractic offers military discounts to retired and disabled veterans, and they now accept patients with excess insurance. For more information and to find the location nearest you, visit firstchiro.com, the most trusted name in chiropractic care.
First Chiropractic, good health is to enjoy.
Go Wildcats! As a new season starts, the Tucson Police Department bears down with the Tucson community. We are looking to build our team, and we need you. Interested in joining our starting lineup? Visit jointucsonpd.org. Join our team and score a great career. From our commissioned officers to our professional staff, Tucson Police Department proudly stands behind the Arizona Wildcats. Bear down and apply today at jointucsonpd.org.
Thank you for calling Alaskan AC. Now.
Thank you for calling Alaskan AC. Now.
Hey guys.
What are you...
Gotta take this. Thank you for calling Alaskan AC. Now.
Thank you for... Uh-huh. Right. You don't say. Uh-huh. Now.
Hold it. What's with all the nows?
People want to know the best time for an Alaskan vacation.
And you're telling them...
Hello? Now.
Well, there's no bad time for an Alaskan vacation, but the best time is now.
Pretty soon, Arizona temps are going to put a strain on your AC.
Now is really the best time.
You're not telling people about all the money they save?
Now.
Or how Alaskan AC will make their AC last longer?
Now.
Or the big 1-year guarantee that their AC will not break down?
Thank you for calling Alaskan AC. Well, Ron wants to tell you a bunch of stuff. I know. That's kind of what I told him. Okay, thanks. Oh, by the way, now.
The best time for an Alaskan vacation is...
now.
Schedule at alaskanac.com. Now.
Is reviewing life insurance on your to-do list? Now's the perfect time to add it. A friend recently told me that securing life insurance sooner rather than later can help you lock in lower rates for years to come. So I bumped this up on my list and got it done. I called SelectQuote and couldn't believe how easy and affordable life insurance is. I'm 40 and got a $500,000 policy for $16 a month. My husband's also 40 and his $500,000 policy was only $18 a month. Plus, with SelectQuote's same-day coverage, there was no medical exam required, and we were covered by the time we hung up. Knowing I have this checked off my list feels amazing, but the peace of mind knowing my family is protected feels even better.
Call SelectQuote at 1-800-280-8787. That's 1-800-280-8787. Or go to SelectQuote.com to get your free quote today. That's 1-800-280-8787. Details on example rate at SelectQuote.com.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textplan.us. Texting enrolls for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stop to opt out.
Attention. If your teen or preteen is or has been addicted to Instagram, Snapchat, or TikTok and been treated for eating disorders, body image issues, anxiety, depression, or suicidal thoughts, you may be eligible to participate in a lawsuit for significant compensation. Text SOCIAL to 323232 for more information. Disclosures by multiple Facebook whistleblowers suggest Instagram knows their social media platforms are highly addictive and cause eating disorders, body image issues, depression, and suicidal ideation, but have done little to stop it. If your family has been impacted by social media addiction, you could be eligible for significant compensation. Text SOCIAL to 323232 if you'd like to discuss a lawsuit. Text SOCIAL to 323232. Text the word SOCIAL to 323232.
Paid non-attorney spokesperson Motley Rice, attorney Jennifer Guy is responsible for this ad. Motley Rice LLC is headquartered at 28 Bridgeside Boulevard, Mount Pleasant, South Carolina 29464.
DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290. It's time for your Arizona Insiders.
Oh, sweet.
Each weekday, Wildcats Radio 1290 brings you all the latest news and opinions on U of A athletics. So bear down, Tucson, and let's talk Wildcats.
Our Arizona Insiders are brought to you by Coors Light, official corporate sponsor of Arizona Athletics.
There's nothing like game day in Arizona.
All right, the broadcast season has come to an end for us here on Wildcats Radio 1290. Let's talk to the man who calls the majority of the games that we air here. Obviously, he does not call the women's basketball games. Those belong to Derek Palmer, but he does call football, men's basketball, and baseball. His name is Brian Jeffries. And Brian, obviously, baseball did not end the way that we had wanted to, hoping to have some more games this weekend, but did not really transpire that way. As you looked at those two games and what happened last weekend, what was your assessment of why the Wildcats, who had pitched so well during the regular season, just could not get the starting outings from Clark Candiotti and Cam Welty that we had seen?
They got two teams that just played better baseball in the two games. And you could say pitching, hitting, you could just say, all together better play. And I would give, Grand Canyon and Dallas Baptist all the credit in the world. We knew this was the toughest regional in the country coming in. It certainly proved out that way. I think that, West Virginia winning it is a great story. And we go from there. So it was not something you'd hope for. You work so hard to get that home field advantage and be able to host and to see it end in 2 games, that's difficult. You've got to accept that. You've got to go on. I go back to 1992. I remember Arizona lost both games over at Sunset Field, and it felt the same way. Is that you had that home field and you hope you could take advantage of it, and you didn't, and it's because the other team just outplayed you. And maybe it's a lesson for the guys next year if they get back into this same position. But I still give more of the credit to the other teams, just because I think they just played better baseball. That's the bottom line.
Yeah. Obviously, Friday night was just unbelievable in terms of, almost 9,000 people in the building. Just for you as a broadcaster, what was kind of special to see that many people packed into to High Corbett for a game?
Well, absolutely. I mean, the team's gotten great support. And really, since they moved over to High Corbett back in 2012, it's made a big difference. I mean, it's a great ballpark. It's very fan-friendly. You've got free parking, and at least up until Friday, probably ample free parking. I know folks had to walk away on Friday, but when you get that many people, then you kind of understand why. So, I mean, yeah, just a tremendous atmosphere, and you're disappointed for them because, I think a salute to the fans. They stayed. Not as many were out there, the next day when it was hot, but a lot more maybe than some people had hoped came out, and they stayed through the whole thing. Even though the Wildcats, were behind the entire day, and it's just a great salute to the fans. And this has, always been a very good baseball town, be it college baseball or spring training or minor league baseball, what have you. And that's just a good testament to the fan base here. And so I know they're probably disappointed as well, but they'll be back next spring.
Chatting with Brian Jeffries, the voice of the Wildcats. We were mentioning in the first segment, all that's left now is the 6 young men who are representing Arizona at the NCAA Track and Field Championships this week before we call this particular athletics year to a close. As you kind of start looking back on this now, this past year, Brian, what are some of the things, some of the takeaways, some of the memories that you're gonna have for this particular 23-24 cycle?
Well, I mean, it was a very successful year, really across the board. And I know somebody sent out the stat last week that Arizona is one of only 6 schools in the country that qualified for a bowl game, advanced to the NCAA tournament in women's basketball, men's basketball, baseball, and softball, and that's pretty special when you can do that. And so, and as you mentioned, they still have some individual athletes competing at the NCAA Track and Field Championships up in Oregon. So, all in all, you just look from fall through spring, and everybody's not going to win every game, and everybody's not going to win every year. But when you have sustained success and when you have an outstanding season the way so many teams did this year, then that's something really to be proud of. And, sometimes I sit back and marvel at what these coaches have been able to do to bring, the Wildcats to the forefront the way they have. And, it's a tough job. It really is. And I that's why I admire them so much in their ability to mold these young men and women into a position where they can win both on the field, in the classroom, et cetera. So I know there's a lot of pride around campus right now over what has happened this year, and just hope to keep it going next year.
Yeah, and you obviously look, there's going to be a lot of change that's going to be taking place with the move to the Big 12. Arizona has a new athletics director in Desiree Reed-Francois. What have been your interactions with her in this early going, and what do you like about maybe the vision that she has for this program?
Well, I think number one, she has a vision. Number two, she's a great people person. I noticed that just on her first day on campus that, she's interested in people and the people that are on campus and the student athletes and, who they are and what they're all about. And it's not just wins and losses. It's getting to know everybody and their role, in particular the athletes and the coaches, et cetera, and the staff. And I think that certainly stands out. And she's walked into a situation where there's some financials that have to be dealt with, and she has a plan for that. And I think we'll learn more about that here in the next few weeks or next couple of months. But working very hard on getting that, making sure that it's been a smooth transition. You had, Mike Candrea did an outstanding job as the interim, and you couldn't ask for a better person there. And then the next step for Desiree to come in and do what she's done, and that is immediately, as they say, hit the ground running. and so that there is no drop off. And I think that's one thing whenever you have a change like that, and it could be a coach or an athletic director, that transition period can be difficult. And I think she's made it almost seamless now for, everybody on campus, everybody involved in the athletic department. There's always challenges. And so her background tells us that she's going to deal with those. And I think everybody's excited to see that new direction. And she's talked a lot about, at least internally, about, the changes in college athletics right now. And there will continue to be changes across the board. I'm talking to every school in the country and how the conferences and the new conferences deal with it, and the NIL and everything that goes into the world of college athletics right now. But she's on top of it, understands it. And I think that's one reason why there's so much optimism around the department right now.
Chatting with Brian Jeffries, the voice of the Wildcats, as his broadcast season comes to an end. What's the first thing, I guess, when you make that final call and you know that this particular broadcast cycle for this year is over, Brian? What's maybe the first thing that hits you as a broadcaster? Is it a sense of relief, obviously some disappointment, as we mentioned this week, with the fact that there weren't going to be more baseball games, but what's kind of the first things that come to your mind as you close up the broadcast year for yourself and for all that you guys do over at Learfield?
Well, it's always sadness, no matter how it ends. I think the only exceptions to that have been baseball national championships, when you get to sign off after doing that. That's happened, and that's great. But that doesn't happen every year. And so, there's always that sense of sadness. And I think, with this year's baseball team, they exceeded expectations. I mean, they were picked to finish 9th in the Pac-12, and they win the darn thing, and then, win the tournament and get to host and all that went into it. And so there's a little more sadness, I think, because, I wanted to see these guys keep playing. I don't know how far they could have advanced. We'll never know. But it was really and is such a great group of young men, and the bulk of them will be back, it looks like, next year. And so it was kind of a sense of sadness at the same time when I, looked at the roster this week and looked at all the guys that could potentially be back next year and the recruiting class that Chip Hale has up on the board. I thought to myself, okay, that's what you want. You want to go into every season with the idea that the team that you're involved with could be good. It doesn't mean it always will be that way, but you like to go in with that optimism, and that's certainly the case in baseball.
Brian, we know every summer there's a long list of new last names that you guys have to go through, but my question is, going to this new conference, how much of Brian Jeffries' summer will be spent combing over all of the names going into this new Big 12 conference? Because I always marvel at how easily that you rattle off a lot of the more obscure names. So how much time this summer are you going to spend going through some of the new programs that Arizona is going to be mingling with next year?
Yeah, I'll tell you, JW, more than normal, because with the exception of Colorado and Utah, or Colorado, Utah, and ASU, there's going to be a lot to learn. And one thing I keep files on every team we played. And of course, when they're conference teams, I've got files that go back years and years, and things change, but just having that history kind of filed away somewhere to me is very important. And that's going to be something new to now delve into and immediately start looking at the calendar and saying, okay, I know it's not a conference game, but we go to Kansas State there in the third game of the season. And since they will be a conference affiliate, learning about the history of the programs. And I'm talking about football, men's basketball, and baseball, the three sports that I cover. And that's something that normally, a normal summer, all I would need to do was brush up on the non-conference teams, because I have everything. I usually spend my summers rebuilding those files on every team that we're going to play. And, of course, the vast majority of those have been conference teams. And so you just go update those, and then you feel really good going into the season, because as each game comes up, I've already got all that history already set to go. So, it's going to take a little more this summer. I think at the same time, it's kind of exciting because you get to learn a lot about those schools that I really don't know much about, because we don't play them on a regular basis. I mean, Kansas State, Texas Tech, BYU, I guess we played a few times. West Virginia, can't recall other than the baseball series last year. Certainly Central Florida, and I'm just talking about football right now. I mean, Houston, we played them not too many years ago, and We play TCU in a couple different sports, but it's going to be a learning process. And like I said, it's exciting because you're going to find out new things about these schools that maybe you didn't know, and have that stuff ready to go come fall.
All right, what's on the vacation plans for the summer?
We're going to probably go up to Northern California and drink some wine at some point.
That sounds really good.
That's been on the bucket list, and so I think that's happening. We've got a couple other little things, that we're talking about, but nothing really in concrete yet. A lot of it just trying to, because you don't know when the baseball season's going to end, and it's really hard to plan for the month of June, and so I just leave June open. And now that it's over, in fact, we were just talking about that the other night, saying, okay, what do we do now until July when we have a trip planned? We got to find something else here. So there's I'd say close to 400 weeds in my backyard that I have not pulled as yet. As you know, we had a very wet winter, and I just have no time. And so I've been staring at the window, and I went down to the local home improvement store today to buy a piece of equipment, and I'm going to tackle the backyard. That is going to be my first vacation.
There you go.
If you'd like to help, by the way, guys, if you'd like to come by and help, I'd be glad to, supply some soft drinks and what have you.
There you go. The honeydew chores have got to get done during the summer.
Could you pick a week that isn't 107 to ask for help outside, maybe?
Yeah, I'll be up at 5 a.m. I'll hit it and get as much done as I can before it hits 95 or so, and then call it a day after that.
Are you planning to be in Vegas for the pack or the pack? You got to train my brain now. The Big 12 football media days.
Yeah, I forgot about that. That's on the docket as well. That'll be a 2-day venture, and you're right. How many times are we going to say Pac-12 over the next couple of months? Because when you get that, I remember how long it took to get away from Pac-10.
Yeah, right.
And so that took a while, and I know I'll be slipping several times, but that's part of the excitement of going into this new conference is to meet all the new people. That was one thing about leaving the Pac-12 and leaving Scottsdale is saying goodbye, and there weren't a lot left because the office is down to really the Pac-12 office down to a bare minimum. But saying goodbye to those people because you've known them for years, they've been a tremendous help to you. They have a research department over there that I think is the best that I know of. I've talked to some of my counterparts at other conferences, and they said they didn't have anything like that. And say goodbye to those guys and all the help that they provide for every sport every year. That's the tough part. Now, to flip that over again, now you're excited to meet the new people. I know a couple guys out of the Big 12, so it'd be great to see them and meet the new people. And from my understanding, from what I've been told and what I've experienced so far, that the conference is extremely well run, and they're excited to get the new schools in and get going on a new tradition here in the fall.
All right, Brian. Well, we'll talk to you again around Big 12 football media days then.
Sounds good.
Enjoy your June off and enjoy the next 3 weeks until I believe it's like July 8th or 9th or somewhere around then. So we'll give you a month off before we bug you again.
I appreciate that very much. My backyard will appreciate it even more.
I'm sure it will. Tell the wife we said hello.
Okay. Thanks, guys. We'll
Brian Jeffries, the voice of the Wildcats, wrapping up, what is it, J-Dub, 37 years now? 36. I should have that number written down here with, I should probably put that next to my, I got to change this hypothetical basketball player. Since Philip Vorvicinen is no longer here, I can take this down.
Are you familiar with The Shining, the movie?
Yes.
Do you know the end of it where it's like Jack's character says, "You've always been the caretaker"? I feel like Brian Jeffries has always been the voice of the Wildcats.
Yeah.
So I don't put a year on it.
Okay.
There's no number to it as far as I'm concerned.
There you go.
He's always been the voice of the Wildcats.
There you go. All right, we'll talk more Arizona in the 4 o'clock hour with Michael Lev. Cricket, though, right now, getting you home every 20 minutes on the 5s with your traffic and your weather.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic. With collision I should say, that is reported and clearing Cortero at I-10. Reported on Cortero at I-10. Some busy travel on southbound Swan at Glen. Also on southbound Swan, some slowing there due to road work approaching River. 71 the low, sunny, 104 tomorrow, an excessive heat warning, 10 a.m. Thursday through 8 p.m. on Friday. 99 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by ChumbaCasino.com. Play social games online for free. Head to ChumbaCasino.com now to join the Chumba fun and experience the thrill of the Chumba life. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
Yeah, Goodfellas AC.
Hi, can I get a second opinion from you guys on something?
Of course. It's what we're here for.
So, my wife's brother claimed he'd done some AC repair before.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, and now there's kind of a rope and pulley situation that opens the freezer door and a fan inside turns on to cool off the house.
Huh, very creative.
Really?
No, not at all. Next time, call us first, yeah?
Yeah.
Call Goodfellas AC for free estimates and second opinions. Good service, good prices, Goodfellas. GoodfellasAC.com.
We're going abroad for the first time in years. To Spain. So we started using Babbel.
And started learning Spanish fast.
With Babbel, you can start having conversations in another language in just 3 weeks.
¿Cómo te llamas?
¿Cómo te llamas?
When you learn a language, you want to actually use it. Babbel is designed with that goal in mind.
In just 3 weeks, we're starting to have conversations in Spanish. Gracias, Babbel.
Babbel, language for life. Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. That's BABBEL.com.
O'Reilly. Eliminate carbon and varnish deposits with Lucas Fuel Treatment at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Simply add it to your tank at your next fill-up. A clean fuel system can increase performance and fuel economy. Right now, get 2 bottles of Lucas Fuel Treatment for just $9 and get 2 times O Rewards points. In-store only at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Old Pueblo Harley-Davidson is your one-stop motorcycle shop. They have a huge selection of new and used inventory and will even pay retail for most trades. Their fantastic range of motor clothes, parts, and top-notch service technicians are here to take your bike to the next level. Skip the hassle and experience a quick and easy process exclusively at Old Pueblo Harley-Davidson or online at oldpuebloharley.com. That's oldpuebloharley.com. Some restrictions may apply. See dealer for details.
You've heard the term fiduciary when describing financial services, but do you know what that really means? The fiduciary standard requires firms to put the interests of the client above the interests of the financial advisor. This is Natalie Fernandez-Lee, and at Meridian Wealth Management, we intentionally structured our business as a true fiduciary and are in the minority of firms in the industry who operate that way. As I always say, our clients come first, and we mean it. Visit meridianwealthllc.com or call us at 719-1433 today.
Advisory services provided by Meridian Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor.
Make sure you download or update the Wildcats Radio 1290 app. We've got the entire state covered like no other sports radio station in southern Arizona. Plus, when you have the app, you can cover U of A sports with Wildcats Radio 1290 anywhere and everywhere you go and out of town, too. The mountains, the beach, working out, or maybe even...
Oh, no. Turn that off.
Download or update the Wildcats Radio 1290 app today and never miss a moment of sports analysis. Well, maybe an occasional moment. Wildcats Radio 1290.
Is switching your wireless service to Total by Verizon easy?
Totalmente.
Now you can get 50% off any unlimited data phone plan. That's one line for only $25 a month, and you keep the phone you love. Hurry, this is a limited time offer. So find a store or switch suavemente at totalbyverizon.com. Offer ends July 31st, 2024. Promo subject to cancellation after 12 months. Available exclusively online and in Total by Verizon stores. Requires a compatible unlocked device and SIM. See totalbyverizon.com for device compatibility and additional details. Taxes and fees may apply.
AC season is here, and Signature Heating and Cooling wants to remind you to make your AC service appointment today. Don't wait to call them. Signature Heating and Cooling offers same-day service appointments. Signature Heating and Cooling services all brands, and right now you can get a new quality unit from American Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Signature Heating and Cooling offers you customized financing plans to get you your new American Standard unit today. SignatureHeatingandCooling.com, where service still exists.
3 little words no parent wants to hear.
My tummy hurts.
And it always seems to happen at the worst times. Like in the middle of the morning rush, when you still have homework to check and lunches to pack, and of course, you're already late for work. Luckily, there's Pepto Kids. Pepto Kids chewables provide fast relief for common stomach issues, turning those 3 words into these 3 words.
I feel better.
Bad time for stomach upsets? Good time for Pepto Kids chewables. Fast relief for little tummies. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290.
520-848-1290. 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. You can call us at that number. You can text us at that number. You can, in fact, text app, the word app, APP, to 520-848-1290. I will send you a link. You can download our app. Our app is the best place to make sure that you've got all the information you need about what is happening sports-wise in the state of Arizona. We've still got our game story from Saturday. Arizona Wildcats baseball's loss in the regionals pinned up there, as well as you'll see a story on the Diamondbacks last night. Got a big win. Pavin Smith, a walk-off home run. You'll hear that later in our Diamondbacks download. Also, we've got a story up on NASCAR here in Tucson. I had a chance to go out to the track on Saturday night. We had Ron Norman and Jim Rayburn on our show Friday from the ballpark. So the wife and I, because the Wildcats lost, and there was only always going to be one game on Saturday once they lost Friday night, but we decided, why don't we go out to the racetrack? So we went out and saw some of the racing on Saturday night out at Tucson Speedway, and so we'll dive into that a little bit as well. But if you want a story on what happened, you can just head on over to our app, check out the story that says Hines steals the show at Icebreaker. Cassidy Hines, a 20-year-old driver from Colorado, is racing the season over here in Tucson this year, the Super Late Models season, and she is really, really good. She's like 5'0", but she absolutely blew away the field in the second race, winning. She won both ends of the 100-lap Icebreaker event. They ran 2 50-lap races. She won both 50-lap races. She's won 3 times in 8 races, 7 top 5 finishes so far this season, and she's leading in the points. A woman driver has never won the Super Late Models series at Tucson Speedway, but she right now is ahead. And it's still early. They've only done 8 races. I think they probably have about another 5 or 6 to go, but she is in the driver's seat, no pun intended.
Let's say one of our billions of listeners didn't get a chance on Friday to hear the interview with Ron Norman and Jim Rayburn.
Yes.
Could they find that on the app also?
They could find that on the app as well. Just scroll down to where it says 1290 on demand. That's probably off the page right now, so you'll need to see more, and then you can go down and find that interview with Ron Norman and Jim Rayburn, and all the interviews that we conduct, including the one we did with Brian Jeffries, will be up momentarily because J-Dub is really fast like that. You can also watch the show on any of our million streams that we have. We're on Twitter at Wildcats1290. We are on Facebook Live. We're on YouTube. We're on Twitch. So you can watch our YouTube stream on our app while you're cruising. You can just kind of keep tabs on what we're talking about right now. So there's all kinds of great stuff you can get involved with on our app. Download it today.
Slaps.
So you don't miss a thing. It slaps. It slaps indeed. All right, 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. The Phoenix Mercury are back on the floor tonight. They're going to be on the road against the Seattle Storm. That is obviously the team that Adia Barnes played with for a large portion of her WNBA career. And the ladies are coming off a win over the weekend at home against the LA Sparks. The LA Sparks, that's the team that one Miss Ari McDonald plays for.
McDonald in her 4th season out of the University of Arizona. Helped Adia Barnes turn that program around. Kia Nurse trying to answer, doesn't get the roll. Battle for the rebound. Brink runs up with it, gets it to McDonald, and that 3 is good.
Ari McDonald, that was her only made basket of the game. She played the most minutes she's played all year. We were talking before, she'd really only been playing about 5 to 8 minutes per game, but she played 23 minutes in this game against Phoenix over the weekend. Just 1 for 5 from the floor, that 1 3-pointer. She finished with 3 rebounds and 5 assists on the night. The big story, of course, was 140. Is she 41, I think now?
41, yeah.
41-year-old Diana Taurasi.
Here come the Mercury looking to push pace. Taurasi for 3. Can't leave her open, Annie. You just can't. I don't care if it's year 20 or not. Nothing like a little home cooking to get right. Shot clock at 5. Taurasi, the turnaround jumper is money. She's got 11. But now it's players moving without the basketball. Taurasi, triple. You betcha! Diana Taurasi leads all scorers with 23.
7 of 9 3-point shots in that game for Diana Taurasi. She finished with 31 points as the Merc get the win over the Sparks. The Sparks are a struggling team this year. They've got a lot of guard issues. Ari might be playing a lot more minutes as the season goes along, but they're just 2-6 on the season. A needed win for Phoenix because they'd gone on that tough East Coast road trip and struggled. So they're 4-5 heading into tonight's game against Seattle. Seattle is 5-3 on the season. Diana Taurasi, after that game, talking about how much they needed to come home and get some cooking.
Obviously, the road trip was tough for us. You know, we just battled a lot of things, played some good teams. We had one good night, and then, so we wanted to get back home and kind of regroup and refocus on the things that we can control. And tonight, I thought we just had tremendous energy. We were very detailed, focused, and it takes everyone. For whatever reason, one person might have a big night, but I thought, Sophie was great energy. I mean, Mac. I think she had, 10 rebounds in the first half. I mean, it's things like that win games. Kiki came off the bench and, had great energy and made plays. And, that's why it's a team sport. You need everyone to contribute every night.
7 first 8 threes. I don't know that anything hit the rim. How do you describe what it feels like when you're in that kind of a thing?
Yeah, I think in the last couple games, I just really hadn't been, in a great rhythm. And tonight, I think when you come out with a different mindset, even, for whatever reason, it helps you concentrate a little bit more. And I mean, they're fun nights when they go in. Those 7 didn't touch the rim, and the last one was an air ball. Go figure.
Go figure. So that game tonight, Mercury and Storm. And, of course, I won't be able to watch it because I can't get any of those games on my TV because I live on the north side. But if you have Cox Cable, you can watch that game tonight and tell us all about it tomorrow here on DK on the Sports Tip. All right. Something else happened over the weekend in the WNBA, which has been driving conversation. Should we talk about that, J-Dub?
Sure.
What happened with Caitlin Clark? I didn't even really think that was granted, what Kennedy Carter did, it's not a basketball play, but it wasn't even, and it was a flagrant one, no question, but it wasn't even a hard hit. And people have just completely lost their minds over this thing. And again, it goes back to, and it's a double-edged sword because like I've said, I've been following the WNBA since this league started. I was a season ticket holder for the Cleveland Rockers for the first 3 years of the league. So this league is not new to me, but it is new to a lot of people, and the new people are driving me crazy because a lot of them act like they've never even watched sports before.
Right.
It's like
rookie hazing. I mean, that's if you come in, you come in as the number 1 pick. I don't care what kind of
who you are,
what records you set in college, let alone breaking Pete Maravich's record. Obviously, Caitlin Clark has had a huge target on her back for years now. This is not something that's happened in the last 12 months or 24 months when most people heard the name of Caitlin Clark for the first time. This goes back to when she was a freshman and sophomore and everybody knew she was coming. A lot of the players in the WNBA knew that she would make it one day to that league, DK. The fact that she's getting a lot of physical treatment and whatever. My real question now, this may not be on the same wavelength that you're thinking, but My question is, you just said there's a lot of new eyeballs, right? At what point is it, okay, this person, whether or not it's validated or not, has brought, a 35-40% jump in the visibility of the league? She's unquestionably good for everybody in that league, right? At what point, collectively, give her the hardest defense she's ever seen, but rooting for her to fail, which kind of seems like a little bit of what's going on behind the scenes there, is almost like rooting to drive away a lot of those new fans.
Yeah.
Right? Like at some point or another, watching Caitlin Clark is to watch Caitlin Clark make a 30-footer. Now, if she does it with a hand in her face, even better, right? That's what people who have been following her career most recently, because she's got Steph's game. She plays just like Steph Curry. So watching 30-footers go down is great. If she goes 0 for 10 and makes the 11th, they're still going to cheer. 1 in 9, I think, is that team's record. That's not a very good team.
No.
Having team success like she did with the Hawkeyes is clearly why she became a household name. But again, DK, at what point is she not a net positive benefit for every player in that league, raising visibility, raising the amount of commercial viability, and all of those things?
Well, and 2 and 9, we don't want the Fever fans to call and get mad at us.
They did win a game last week.
For shorting them a victory. Yeah, well, they beat the Chicago Sky, which was when all of this drama took place. I believe it was on Friday night or Saturday night.
That play itself, I didn't have a problem with. Angel Reese standing up and clapping as if they had just won a title with the physicality of that play makes you wonder what kind of, because you always hear things about maybe somebody's got a price, like in the NFL, the running backs or whatever, DK. I mean, there's terminology for this behind the scenes, but go out and get that person. Go out and make sure that person feels the physicality or whatever is a topic conversation that goes on in the locker room. That reaction Angel Reese had to that physical, it was a dead ball, elbow to the ribs type of thing that knocked Caitlin Clark down. I just wonder if that's the goal. If the goal is to hurt her, big picture, you really kind of want Caitlin Clark in that league, DK. I mean, you want her as healthy as possible, even if they're 2 and 20. She's doing a lot. Now, she's not anywhere close to the same conversation as we just talked about Diana Taurasi, greatest player of all time. She's got 20 years before she gets in that conversation.
Yeah,
right?
No question.
However, as far as current popularity goes, she's right there on the buzzword and bringing a lot of new fans in. I just think it's probably in the best interest that they don't break her ribs so she doesn't play games. Is probably not, especially on basketball play type of situations like that dead ball.
Well, you mentioned Angel Reese, and Angel and Kennedy spoke yesterday. Neither one of them spoke after the game on Saturday. That's a whole nother can of worms that we can open about, okay, you want coverage, but then you're not going to talk to the media after the game when they request you. We could go down that rabbit hole, which we may, but we'll let you hear from Kennedy and Angel, a very fascinating press conference that took place yesterday. And I'm going to let you hear the whole thing because, I want you to hear exactly what these two young ladies had to say. And once again, Angel Reese, and I said it after she cried at the end of the LSU loss, she said something yesterday that I've got a huge problem with. We'll dive into that next hour. It's DK on the Sports Tip. He's JW. We've got cricket here as well. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. Valencia near Tucson Boulevard, a possible fire reported. Expect to see fire crews responding. Valencia near Tucson Boulevard. First in Fort Lowell and First Avenue, a crash clearing. Some slowing southbound Swan at Glen, also westbound Valencia at Mission. And for your weather overnight, 71, the overnight low, sunny, 104 tomorrow, 99 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Allstate. Some people just know there's a better way to do things, like bundling your home and auto insurance with Allstate. Why make things harder than they need to be? There's a better way to save time and money. Visit allstate.com or call for a quote today.
You know it. Your neighbors know it. And let's face it, The mailman knows it too. Your yard just isn't what it used to be. But thankfully, Dorado Rock Materials can get you, well, your yard anyway, back to what it once was, and even better. Dorado Rock Materials has just what your yard needs, from decorative rock to boulders and everything in between, brought right to you. And if you need help spreading it, we can help with that too. Dorado Rock Materials. The right service, the right product, the right price.
Desperate buyers have created tremendous opportunity for sellers. If you've had the slightest thought of selling your home, it's time to call Sean Poston with the Poston Results Team at Keller Williams, Southern Arizona. Why choose the Poston Results Team? Past performance, more money in your pocket, over a 65% referral rate, an incredible Poston Results Team staff, and most important, communication, because you and your home matter. The Poston Results Team. When buying and selling really matter, go to TucsonHomeValues.com. That's TucsonHomeValues with an S.com.
The Wildcats play here. This is your home of Arizona Wildcats football, men's basketball, and baseball. This is the home of the Wildcats. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
The feeling you get when gas prices go up again. Now you can lose that feeling forever, because O'Reilly Chevrolet lets you say goodbye to gas stations and hello to savings with their state-of-the-art Blazer EVs. If you're looking for a vehicle with zero emissions and a dealership with zero hassle, look no further than O'Reilly.com. Call 747-8000 or test drive one today on Broadway next to Park Place Mall. Charge into the future at O'Reilly Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
O'Reilly Chevrolet.
Honey, our yard's full of weeds. Looks like a jungle and the neighbors are complaining.
I know. I'm trying to get rid of them, but the product I'm using, it doesn't work.
Oh.
Not to mention, I don't have the time.
But it's not just weeds.
It's not?
No, I'm seeing ants.
Ants?
Yeah, and spiders.
Ooh, spiders.
I know, and I think I saw a scorpion.
No way.
Yes way, and there's a pack rat in our garage.
Ew. Okay, I'll call University Termite and Pest Control today. We'll get rid of all of them.
Okay, honey, thank you.
University Termite and Pest Control, locally owned. Find them online at bepestfree.com.
Remember to tune in to Wildcats Radio 1290 for the biggest pregame show in the Pac-12. Because that's how we roll. We go on the air 4 hours before every football and men's basketball game all season long. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
At Nova Home Loans, we believe everyone deserves the opportunity to enjoy the independence that comes with home ownership. Whether you're a first-time home buyer who needs down payment assistance, have less than perfect credit, or looking to refinance, Nova has a variety of home loan programs for your unique situation. Visit novahomeloans.com or call 800-955-9125 to learn more. Not a commitment to lend or extend credit. Rates and available loan programs are subject to change without notice. NMLS 3087, BK 0902429, Equal Housing Opportunity.
Get your backyard summer ready with a custom pool from First Choice Pools. A backyard oasis built around you. First Choice is a full-service builder of beautiful in-ground pools and backyard designs for years of staycations. If you want to dive in this summer, now is the time to visit TucsonPoolBuilder.com. First Choice Pools for installs, renovation, remodeling, and repair. Get started today at TucsonPoolBuilders.com. Ask about our 60-day pool. To be summer ready, First Choice is the only choice.
KCUB Tucson, a Cumulus media station. We are the sports station that Tucson turns to for all the latest news when it comes to Arizona men's basketball, along with all the play-by-play action. We are Wildcats Radio 1290. Live from the CNWT.
From the what? Central Northwest Tucson, duh.
It's DK on the Sports Tip with your host, David Kelly.
Radio. Just when I thought I was out, they drug me back in.
Featuring J.W. Madden.
Don't tell me about flip-flops, man. I'm a native.
And Cricket getting you home with traffic and weather.
Camp on Melt Lemon, not in the left lane on the freeway.
Here we go! And now, a man who has not one, but 3 first names, David Scott Kelly.
Hour number 2 of the program on this Tuesday. It is heating up here in southern Arizona. Did I see that it is going to be a 108 or something like that on Thursday?
That's what I said to Brian. 107, I said. Yeah, I saw 107.
Gosh. Holy mackerel. Good thing well, sometimes we complain about this building being so cold, but that probably is one day we will not be complaining about this building being so cold. For sure. My name is David Kelly. His name is J.W. Madden. Cricket is also here with us. We will hear from her this hour as well. 520-848-1290. 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. If you missed the first hour, talked a little bit about Laura Ianello leaving the University of Arizona as the golf coach. The Wildcats are searching for a new women's golf coach. A release put out today by the athletics department quoted new athletics director Desiree Reed-Francois. We thank Laura for her 14 seasons of service as our head coach and for continuing the championship legacy of Arizona women's golf. We wish Laura, her husband Jeff, and their 2 daughters the best as they begin their new chapter in Austin. Arizona women's golf has a storied legacy of championships, the best home facility in college golf in the William M. Bill Clements Golf Center, and the support of an incredible golf community here in Tucson. This is one of the top coaching jobs in college golf, and we will work diligently to find a new head coach who is best fit to continue the championship culture of Arizona women's golf. Laura Ianello was a member of the national championship team here in 2000 as a student, and she was head coach of a national championship team in 2018. So Laura Ianello departs the University of Arizona to head to Texas. And this one kind of, J-Dub, slipped through the cracks last week. Remember when we were talking about Stanford and
all the names
and their endowment positions?
Yeah.
Well, Arizona Athletics now has their first endowed position.
Do they?
In department history. The University of Arizona Athletics Department proud to announce the first fully endowed position as Dr. Sophia Red. I don't know if it's Red or Reed because I do not know this particular athletic department official, is now the Tyler Family Endowed Assistant Athletics Director, CATS Student Athlete Development. That's the academic wing. Reed has been with the department since 2018, began overseeing the Edward T. Bell CATS Student Athlete Development Program following the retirement of the legendary Becky Bell back in 2020. So it's not a coach, but it is the woman who runs the athletics academic piece inside of the department. She is now, again, the Tyler Family Endowed Assistant Athletics Director, CATS Student Athlete Development.
So thanks to the Tyler family.
Yes, thanks to the Tyler family. That is Dr. Sophia Reed. So maybe we're on our way to endowing our wide receivers coach and our football coach.
Just
and
more research for Brian Jeffries to do, right?
Oh, my gosh.
I mean, if you have to say it every single time.
I hope not. I hope, but we'll have to ask our guy. Well, we'll have to have him on, Troy Clarity from Stanford, even though we won't be in the same conference. We'll just have to have him on to say, do you say this every time you're talking about Troy Taylor, the head football coach? Do you actually read this entire endowment deal every time you do that?
I think at least once or twice during the broadcast.
Yeah.
And then you can shorten it.
Good stuff there. 520-848-1290. 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. We were talking in the last hour, the end of the last hour, about the Caitlin Clark situation. And again, I don't think that we need to coddle Caitlin Clark.
No.
But yeah, you don't want to, you definitely want her on the floor because she is bringing substantial eyeballs to this game, for better or for worse. I heard, I thought one of the best lines in this argument that I've heard from anyone was the one that Monica McNutt threw at Stephen A. Smith yesterday morning when he was going off on a tangent about this. And she basically told him, you could have been talking about the WNBA 3 years ago.
I read that, yeah. Right. He said something like, nobody talks about WNBA more than we do. It's like, yeah, now that Caitlin Clark is the number one news story, of course you are. But again, you could have been bringing some more eyeballs earlier. Yeah,
right.
I get that sentiment for sure.
Let's hear from Caitlin Clark on the foul by Kennedy Carter over the weekend.
One quick follow-up for you, Caitlin. We saw the play in the third quarter where Carter kind of decked you.
Mm-hmm.
How do you respond to that and stay within yourself when maybe you weren't expecting that?
Yeah, I wasn't expecting it, but I think it's just like, just respond, come down, let your play do the talking. It is what it is. It's a physical game. Go make the free throw and then execute on offense. And I feel like that's kind of what we did, but, it is what it is, I guess. I don't know.
Melissa, you said the other night you just want wins. How do you build off this performance now to keep winning?
Caitlin, how have you tried to compartmentalize the way in which the hard fouls are being tolerated with you right now? The targeted fouls.
It is what it is. I feel like I'm just at the point where you accept it and don't retaliate. Like, just let them hit you. Be what it is. Don't let it get inside your head and know it's coming. I think at this point, I know I'm going to take a couple hard shots a game. And that's what it is. I'm trying not to let it bother me. And, just stay in the game is saying what's important, because usually it's the second person that gets caught if you retaliate or something. So just trying to stay in the game and focus on my team and focus on what's important.
Now, we must say here that, again, one of the things that led to this whole incident was the fact that Caitlin Clark, again, was talking a little trash to Kennedy Carter prior to Carter going down and giving her the side elbow shove. So, again, that's part of Caitlin Clark's game, is that she can be a little bit of a trash talker. She's going to get under some people's skin with that, and that's what happened in this instance. Her coach is Christy Sides. She had this to say about all the hard fouls that have been happening on Caitlin Clark so far this season.
Christy, Caitlin said she's gotten to the point where she's accepted those are going to happen, but what needs to be better done to protect her? Because we've seen those game in and game out right now.
I'm trying not to get fined. We're just going to keep sending these possessions to the league and these plays, and hopefully they'll start, taking a better look at some of the things that we see happening or we think is happening. Just more happy that Caitlin handled it the way she did. She, it's tough, to keep getting hammered the way she does and to not get rewarded with free throws or, just a foul call. Like she's continuing to fight through that. And that's what, appreciate that from her. Really, really proud of her for doing that.
DK, women's basketball coaches, there's this 1870s West Virginia coal miner thing going on. Can't they help them out? It can't be you don't have to shout every single second of every single game. They all, DK, we're only 10 games into the season, and a lot of coaches.
Her voice is gone.
Yeah,
already.
gone.
Yeah. It's definitely interesting.
Now, it should be noted that Kennedy Carter was a second-year player 3 years ago who got suspended for a while.
Yeah.
Because she refused to go back into a game and wanted to fight her own teammate.
Mm-hmm.
You know this story?
Yes.
There's a little bit of a history there. And again, I think what we said last hour, for me, we'll get into this a little bit more, but I think non-basketball plays, physicality within the scope of the game itself is great. I'm here. I'm not going anywhere. I'm right here next to you. Try to make a 30-footer over me. That's great. Dead ball, extracurricular contacts. The fact that wasn't reviewed and wasn't a flagrant until after the game's a little suspect too. I don't know what's going on there. But yeah, I mean, be as physical as you need to be. She doesn't need to be coddled. She's a professional athlete. That's what the game's all about. And she's also very good for ratings right now, so I think everybody benefits when she's on the court.
Absolutely. 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. Cricket joins us now. So one of the things that we had over the weekend is, I don't know if this is a new thing for us at my household, but it was Sunday movie night. And so one of the movies we watched on Sunday night. I don't know if you guys have seen this. It's on Netflix. It's called Unfrosted. Have you seen that one?
No.
Okay, so
Is that the Seinfeld movie?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it's the Seinfeld movie about the cornflakes battle between Kellogg's and Post.
Right.
Absolutely hilarious movie. I mean, that's just. I mean, and I was like, was this? Because Netflix is my wife's thing. It's not really my thing. So I'm like, was this movie in the theaters? And like, I don't ever remember hearing anything about it. But the funniest part was the insurrection by the mascots. So the mascots get upset because they're making Pop-Tarts now. And so they don't think that they need the mascots anymore. So they like stage this. It starts out as like a protest out in front of the Kellogg's building. And then it turns into like a literal insurrection where they're like climbing the walls and trying to get into the building.
Right.
It was
the
hilarious.
mascots.
I was like, when did they make this movie? I was like, was this movie made after the actual insurrection? Because I'm watching an insurrection of cereal mascots right now. That's my Sunday night.
No, I think that movie came out last year.
Yeah. It's a relatively movie. I was like, well, that's funny how they wrote that in to this particular movie. Snap, crackle, pop. I mean, it was like, these were actual people. It was, totally hilarious movie. If you like Netflix, I definitely recommend that you watch. It's called Unfrosted. I don't know if it's like based on reality or not.
There was a movie in the 90s. Did you see that one?
No, I don't know.
I think it was called Road to Wellville or something like that.
Okay.
And it was about that story, about the invention of the cornflakes, more or less.
So was this actual, like, were Kellogg's and Post actual rivals, do we know? Like,
well,
back in the day,
the original guy was Kellogg, but he was the inventor of it. Was basically a way to, like, turn product that they were using to feed animals and make it edible for humans. This is a whole thing, but that movie's like Anthony Hopkins and Matthew Broderick and John Cusack and whatnot. Yeah, that was a good movie.
Do you eat cornflakes?
No.
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 Yeah, they're very my wife is trying to get us to stop eating. Like, I'm a big Frosted Flakes person.
Those are so good.
Yeah, and she's like, we bought this box, and she's like, this is the last box I'm buying because there's too much sugar in these cornflakes. So we're like,
I don't know, DK, you're getting a little heavy over there.
Exactly.
Too many
actually, I
cornflakes.
am up 10 pounds this year. I'm up to 185. I was 175 last year. So yeah, maybe it's the sugar in the cereal. I don't know.
Must be the Frosted Flakes.
Must be. I mean, so can I, like I said, can I eat Rice Krispies then? Because that's not as much sugar in the Rice Krispies. But it's totally funny. They had all, like, what's the guy? Quaker Oats he was an actual character in the movie.
Yeah.
Quaker Oats.
Captain Crunch there?
I don't remember if Captain Crunch was there. And what's the guy that was married to the model back in the 80s? He played Tony the Tiger. Hugh Grant. Yeah. He played Tony the Tiger.
You know, every cereal can be a sugary cereal if you have a spoon and you try hard enough.
I
A
know
little bit of sugar.
You got to add some sugar to those Rice Krispies.
Well, I do. That's the problem. There's no sugar, so I actually do put sugar on my Rice Krispies because I have to have a little bit of a sugar rush there. All right. Cricket is getting you home every 20 minutes on the fives with your traffic and your weather.
And from the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio, 1290 traffic and weather together. Collisions that are reported Wilmot north of I-10, also First Avenue and Fort Lowell's clearing. Valencia near Tucson Boulevard, that was an earlier reported structure fire. You might still see fire crews on scene on Valencia on the west side of Tucson Boulevard. And 71 the low, sunny 104 tomorrow. An excessive heat warning in effect from 10 a.m. Thursday until 8 p.m. on Friday. 99 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Wendy's $3 English Muffin Breakfast Deal. Grab a proper breakfast with Wendy's new $3 English Muffin Breakfast Deal. Limited time only. U.S. price and participation may vary. Select a request English Muffin Deal to obtain discount. Not valid for a la carte or combo orders. Single item at regular price.
Did you miss the big game? We got you covered.
Rashada will take the snap, play fake, sets up, looking to throw, nowhere to go. Now he'll run it to the near side, being chased and sacked. Back at the 41-yard line, Jacob Manu.
DK on the Sports Tip, 3 to 6 weekdays.
So hot. Hi, can I help you?
Good afternoon. We're with Goodfellas AC Rapid Response Team.
But I didn't call yet.
That's how fast we are, man.
Just as I thought, this AC is out.
No, we're not gonna lose it. Come on. Come on. Don't you die on me.
Johnson, get a hold of yourself. Sorry, we take this very seriously.
Wow, you fellas are good.
It's not just a name, ma'am.
It's who we are kind of thing.
Good service, good prices, Goodfellas. Goodfellasac.com.
You want to protect her. You'll give anything to make sure nothing harms her. Every minute together makes unforgettable memories. Except that time you parked her under that tree and...
Oh, come on, man. Really?
Sorry, we'll never speak of it again. But remember who came to her rescue? Recon Auto Detailing. Arizona's premier auto detailing company comes directly to you. We'll make your masterpiece shine like it should, and with a monthly maintenance package, we'll keep it that way. Recon Auto Detailing. Online at recondetail.com.
When you have sports mixed with your pop culture, along with humor and celebrity interviews, your earbuds are enjoying The Rich Eisen Show.
You are so obsessed with betting. I don't need to bet.
You're adamant that you're going to win, and I'm adamant that they're not going to win.
But why does money have to be exchanged?
You're a realist.
Like he believes it, you believe it.
Why is that? Well, that's no fun in that.
It's a conversation that you can have, and then Monday it's just like, I told you so. I mean, that's verbal currency.
There's nothing fun there.
Search for The Rich Eisen Show on YouTube or wherever you listen.
I'm getting vaccinated with Prevnar 20, a Pfizer vaccine.
So am I, because I'm at risk for pneumococcal pneumonia.
If you're 19 or older with chronic conditions like asthma, diabetes, COPD, or heart disease, or are 65 or older, you are at increased risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about Prevnar 20, pneumococcal 20-valent conjugate vaccine. It can help protect you against pneumococcal pneumonia in just one dose. Even if you've already been vaccinated with other pneumonia vaccines, Prevnar 20 may help provide added protection. Prevnar 20 is approved for adults to help prevent infections from 20 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you've had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with weakened immune systems may have a lower response to the vaccine. Side effects include pain and swelling at the injection site, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138 or visit Prevnar20.com.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textplan.us. Texting enrolls for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stop to opt out.
Attention. If your teen or preteen is or has been addicted to Instagram, Snapchat, or TikTok and been treated for eating disorders, body image issues, anxiety, depression, or suicidal thoughts, you may be eligible to participate in a lawsuit for significant compensation. Text SOCIAL to 323232 for more information. Disclosures by multiple Facebook whistleblowers suggest Instagram knows their social media platforms are highly addictive and cause eating disorders, body image issues, depression, and suicidal ideation, but have done little to stop it. If your family has been impacted by social media addiction, you could be eligible for significant compensation. Text SOCIAL to 323232 if you'd like to discuss a lawsuit. Text SOCIAL to 323232. Text the word SOCIAL to 323232.
Paid non-attorney spokesperson Motley Rice, attorney Jennifer Guy is responsible for this ad. Motley Rice LLC is headquartered at 28 Bridgeside Boulevard, Mount Pleasant, South Carolina 29464.
Android users, you can tune in to the home of the Wildcats by downloading our new app at the Google Play Store, so you can tune in wherever you are 24 hours a day. The home of the Wildcats is everywhere. This is Wildcats Radio 1290. DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290.
520-848-1290. 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. You can call us at that number. You can text us at that number. We'll be talking with Michael Lev here shortly. Michael Lev from the Arizona Daily Star. We will chat with him about Arizona baseball and Arizona football. And he wrote a lot of different things this year, from college to high school. So we'll dive into all of that with Michael as well. Don't forget, you can be a part of this program. Let's give you our question of the day here while we have an opportunity to do so. And we haven't had a question of the day in a few days or two, but this is a simple one for you today, just to get you going on this week, since it's going to be a limited week in terms of our programming. But did I even post it? I think I did. Here we go. Who's going to win the NBA Finals? That's an easy one. You've got two choices, Dallas or Boston. Who is going to win the NBA Finals? Head on over right now to Twitter. You can vote on that right now. Early, it's pretty even. 54% of the people saying the Boston Celtics are going to beat the Dallas Mavericks. We are joined by none other than Michael Ladd from the Arizona Daily Star. We'll ask Michael that question. Michael, who's going to win the NBA Finals?
I would say, David, that's probably going to be Boston, just based on historical precedent. You know, usually the teams that have some experience in the postseason or have gotten to a certain point before, have built up the scars, the calluses. They have that wealth of experience that they can tap into. That team is Boston. I know Kyrie Irving, of course, personally has a lot of experience going deep into the playoffs, having won a championship with Cleveland. But I would probably give the edge to the Celtics. But I do think it is a great series and matchup for the NBA. Two big cities, some big-time superstars. I think a chance for Luka Doncic to kind of really put himself on the map in America, if people aren't aware of him already. One of the truly extraordinary talents that we have in basketball, with a really incredible resume, considering that I think he's still under 25, or he might just be turning 25.
So do you think Chip Hale found the answer to his postseason woes in your postseason article that he had said on Saturday that he was going to look to for direction?
Probably not. Probably not. I mean, I did, I pointed out like sort of what all the issues were and what, problems they still need to solve moving forward. I made a suggestion at the end about maybe adding some sort of figure to the room and the coaching staff as a grad assistant or undergraduate assistant who has maybe a different personality than some of the guys that they have, to kind of shake things up a little, sort of take advantage of the fact that these kids are kids, and they kind of they thrive on emotion to a great extent, and maybe that's a difficult concept to wrap your head around when you're talking about baseball, because there's so many games and there's so many like individual failures that happen over the course of the game and over the course of the season. But man, they just came out so flat in those games, and you just wonder as he's doing his self-critique, his analysis of what can I do differently, what can I do better. Maybe there's something that they can try in that area, so that they're a little bit more up and a little bit more ready from the start for these quote-unquote big games.
It's interesting you said that, because one of the things I always thought was very interesting about Jay Johnson's philosophy was his approach to how much every game mattered. And I always thought, it's got to be hard. I mean, you're still, you're not playing 100-plus games, but you're still playing darn near close to 60. How do you get up like that for 60 games? And I always thought that, coming from a baseball background and having done a lot of games in professional ball, I always thought, I don't know if that's going to work in terms of the mindset for baseball. But I think you're hitting on a point there. And I think even Chip had talked about that in one of his last pressers, was like, every game does matter. You got to you can't take nights off in college baseball, especially if you want to make the postseason. And I don't know that he comes from that background, because he spent his entire life in professional ball. So he's not used to having to go in there every day and rile his team up, because that's just not what you do in professional ball.
Yeah, he definitely did talk about that. And I think it's something that he has learned and is still learning. I think one of the biggest objections that people had with the hire to Hale was that he didn't have experience in the college game, right? So he kind of came in with maybe a bigger learning curve in certain respects than you would have had if you had hired the coach from UC Irvine or the coach from Oregon, or whatever direction they could have gone that would have been different from what they did. But he's also a really smart guy. He's very sharp. I think he's already proved to have a great deal of adaptability in his makeup as a coach. And I think I truly believe that he will figure it out. I think we saw great signs of progress this year. You could make a strong argument that this team overachieved based strictly on, talent 1 through 35 or however many guys are on the roster compared to the previous teams that they've had. And to me, I mean, in a strange way, I think he did his best coaching job, even though they went 2-Q in the NCAA tournament at home.
We're chatting with Michael Lev, the columnist for the Arizona Daily Star. A new role for you this year, Michael, to be in the columnist role, which obviously you had kind of had a focus on football for the first part of your tenure. So now as you opened up into this new role and started covering more of the athletic department, what are your takeaways about where U of A athletics is right now as they get they're on the precipice of this entrance into the Big 12?
I think that Arizona is in a good place with the arrow generally pointing up, but that it's going to be really challenging to continue to be as competitive as they have been in as many sports as they've been as the landscape changes, as the rules of the game change. You could make a case that, the outcome of this House ruling, that really nothing is that different. There's just more money, being distributed to the student athletes. But you could also make a case that schools are going to have to make decisions because of the way they have to configure their budgets now about where they really want to invest their resources. And so if you're Arizona, are you going to be able to invest as much in as many sports as you have been doing? Or will you have to make some decisions that you don't want to make? Are you going to have to, and I asked Desiree Reed-Francois this question, I think, at her introductory press conference. Are you going to be cutting sports at any point? She flat out said no. That's been a pretty consistent message, no matter who's been in charge over there. But I'm still not sure it's not going to happen, David. I think there could be some casualties in the Olympic sports area across the landscape, not just at Arizona, as this money becomes available and you have to figure out how to distribute it, and the sports that bring in the revenue, I think are, as they always have been, are going to get the benefit of the doubt in those regards. So there might have to be some difficult decisions made, just about what your priorities are. So that's the challenge for Arizona moving forward. I think they have a very good person in place in Desiree Reed-Francois to kind of steer the ship. She's very sharp. She's got a mind for business. She has a lot of experience in this area, and she's not afraid to make difficult decisions, which I think is really important when you're in that position.
Obviously, a huge loss this week with the departure of Laura Ianello to go to Texas, a national championship winning coach here on the women's golf side. Took her team to 3 Final Fours and that title in a 4-year stretch. Obviously, Texas has mountains of money, so you're not going to win that. Arizona is not going to win those types of battles when you're going up against what Texas can offer a coach to what Arizona can offer a coach. But like they said, this is still an attractive job. We saw with Dave Hickey, I think that he made a lot of internal hires, especially towards the end of his tenure here, in terms of promoting a lot of coaches from that were already on staff here. We've seen her go out, obviously, and make her first hire. Did you get a sense from just the choice, obviously, someone she was familiar with at UNLV, that might be kind of the way she does this?
That's a great question. I actually had a conversation with somebody about this not too long ago. And I think we just don't have enough data at this point to determine whether that she's going to kind of go that route every time. I think her past hires at other schools suggest that will not be the case, that she will cast a wider net. I think with this particular job, there will be no shortage of people with connections to the Arizona program from the past, whether they actually went to school and played golf here or are coached here in the past. No shortage of people who will be interested in this particular job. I am assuming that this is one of the sports that Arizona will continue to invest in based on the effort in terms of fundraising and financial resources that were put into building a golf center at Tucson Country Club. This is obviously, as everyone knows, the land of golf here in Arizona because of the weather that we have year round. I mean, that is a great selling point if you are trying to hire a golf coach, or if you are a golf coach trying to recruit student athletes to come and play that sport here. Look at what we have to offer. Look how many different courses you can play. You can play almost all year round. And now we have this state-of-the-art facility where you can practice and hone your game. So I think they'll have no problem filling this particular job. It's a little bit surprising anytime someone with who's got that resume decides to leave their alma mater and the place where they've had so much success. But man, when Texas calls for almost any job, like, you have to listen, and they're probably going to give you an offer that you can't refuse. I think I remember it reminds me a little bit, David, of when Johnny Manson left Arizona for Texas. I think what I said at the time was, this isn't a case of like the haves and have-nots. It's the case of the haves and the have not quite as much. I mean, Arizona's kind of in that territory, right? They're not on the same level as Texas, Ohio State, North Carolina. There's a handful at the very tippy top that are just always going to have more resources than everybody else.
Michael Lev joining us, guest from the Arizona Daily Star. Michael, something we've been talking about over the course of the last several weeks in terms of the transfer portal is it seems that there's a shift that's happening in terms of some of your leadership positions in the player realm, be it quarterback, be it point guard, be it starting pitching, that coaches are tending to go to the transfer portal to find those types of athletes versus, I mean, you're always going to recruit and bring in freshmen and whatnot, but it seems like, we saw it obviously with the baseball. We've seen it, in basketball and football as well, that coaches are maybe going for players with that college experience. Is that a good thing or a bad thing, do you think?
Well, I mean, I guess it depends on like who are you asking that question of, right? Like, the transfer portal and NIL are unquestionably good things for the student athletes themselves in terms of enhancing their marketability, in terms of their capacity to make money, maximize their value monetarily while they are in college, right? Is it a good thing for those sports overall? Well, I mean, I would tell you that even though a lot of people complain about it, they're still watching it, aren't they? I mean, college football ratings, I don't recall a dip in the college football ratings since the NIL era has dawned. It seems like that people are really looking forward to that college football video game that's coming out later this summer. It doesn't seem like there's a lot of people who are like, oh, I'm not going to play that game because of that NIL. Now, I do understand that it is frustrating as a fan when you get a commitment from someone and then a year or two later they go somewhere else. And I do think that it would be helpful in some way if there was some restriction placed on this, because we've gone from, you have to sit out a year if you transfer, to you get one free transfer, to you get an unlimited number of transfers. And like annual unlimited free agency is probably not in the best interest of anyone, honestly. Even though maybe you can make more money by doing that, I don't know how healthy it is for someone to like attend 5 schools in 5 years.
Yeah.
Like we did have that did happen with Clark Candiotti, but I think there were some circumstances involved in that, like maybe not being able to play on the West Coast because of COVID, or you go to a junior college, and when you're at a junior college, it's really a stepping stone, or your coach gets fired, that sort of thing. But like, if you're just putting yourself out there every single year, I'm not sure that that's the way to go. To each his own. But to answer your question, I think it really depends on who you're asking the question of when it comes to is it good for the game?
All right, where's Michael Lev going on vacation before the madness begins again?
We are going to the Midwest. I'm from Chicago. We used to go every year when my mom lived out there, but she's now living here in Tucson, so we don't go quite as often. So we're going to go to Chicago as well as Milwaukee. My son is going into his junior year of high school, so we might do some informal college visits. Maybe check out my alma mater, Northwestern. Definitely go to some baseball games while we're there. So that is our vacation destination 2024. There
you go. Well, Michael, enjoy the downtime, and I'm sure we'll maybe see you in Las Vegas for see, there I get. That's twice already today. Big 12.
Gotta get used to it, David.
Big 12 football media day. Enjoy the summer, Michael.
Yep. Will do. Thank you.
Absolutely. Michael Lev from the Arizona Daily Star does a tremendous job over there in his new role as a columnist covering pretty much everything now, including the high schools. So be sure you follow and read him. All his great information. So Michael J. Lev at Twitter.
With the NIL and the infinite transfer rules like you were just talking about, if the producer at Wildcats Radio 1290 left every summer because they could get a better NIL deal at the station next door, and that happened every single summer,
right?
How easy would the continuity of running the station be?
Difficult.
Right. So there has to be a level of sticking with the program. Maybe your dad went there. Maybe it's your dream school or whatever. If every student athlete is just shopping around the market every single summer to see if they can get a better deal, and that's the reasoning why they're a student athlete in college, that will be the end of college athletics.
Yeah.
There has to be some kind of normalcy, and they got to figure out a way to make it just so it's not one big, free-for-all, test the market to see, what my value is currently every 6 months.
Indeed. All right. We are way past our break, so let's get to that. Cricket's got your traffic. We'll talk Diamondbacks and more when we return. DK on the Sports Tip, Wildcats Radio 1290.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it is Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. Kolb and Speedway and Kolb roadwork and backups for eastbound and southbound travel at Kolb and Speedway. Crashes reported 29th and Kolb. Miracle Mile in Fairview, also Wilmot north of I-10. 71 the low, sunny, 104 tomorrow, and 100 now. And I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Discover. As humans, we like having options. One option you might like is speaking with a real person when you call about your credit card. With 24/7 live U.S.-based customer service from Discover, everyone can talk to a real person anytime, day or night. Limitations apply. See terms at discover.com/creditcard.
Looking for a great deal on a new Blazer EV? Everyone qualifies for $7,500 off MSRP. Costco owners get $1,000 off MSRP. Current EV owners receive $2,500 off MSRP, and that's just the start.
O'Reilly Chevrolet.
Cummings Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, where we always give you a free estimate before we get started.
ROC number 113429.
Okay, kids, we're home. Everybody out.
Ew, my feet are stuck.
In what, honey?
On the floor.
Ew. Take off your shoes. Tommy, come carry your sister into the house.
What do you do when the car you use the most has the least amount of time to get clean? Let Recon Auto Detailing, Arizona's premier auto detailing company, come to you and turn your busiest car back into your best. From basic cleaning to a full detail, Recon Auto Detailing. Online at recondetail.com.
Father's Day and barbecues are a match made, well, at Standard Restaurant Supply. With Father's Day fast approaching, you should be checking out great gift ideas for Dad. It's Standard Restaurant Supply, your home for everything barbecue, except the steak. If it's in a restaurant and not food, they have it. Open to the public, they offer bulk store pricing without the bulk store purchase and with no bulk store membership fee. Open Monday through Saturday at 601 South Cherry Avenue. Check them out at standardrestaurant.com or call 520-885-2345.
Every business faces challenges, but complicated, expensive, and uncertain shipping shouldn't be one of them.
With USPS Ground Advantage from the United States Postal Service, you can avoid all the noise.
No more unexpected surcharges, hidden fees, or complex rate structures.
It's just easy, cost-effective, and dependable shipping. Tune your business's frequency to success and turn shipping to your advantage. Learn how at USPS.com/advantage. USPS Ground Advantage. Simple, affordable, reliable.
Is switching your wireless service to Total by Verizon easy? Totalmente. Now you can get 50% off any unlimited data phone plan. That's one line for only $25 a month, and you keep the phone you love. Hurry, this is a limited time offer. So find a store or switch suavemente at totalbyverizon.com. Offer ends July 31st, 2024. Promo subject to cancellation after 12 months. Available exclusively online and in Total by Verizon stores. Requires a compatible unlocked device and SIM. See totalbyverizon.com for device compatibility and additional details. Taxes and fees may apply.
Searching HVAC near here.
Right here, ma'am. How can we help?
Wow. Nobody local? Huh.
Wait, what? We are an HVAC company literally in your neighborhood. Why is she not seeing us?
Just all the big chains. Well, it is what it is.
What in the... Can you not see us?
Nope, they can't see you. Because you're buried deep in the list of local HVAC providers. You are invisible online. Introducing Cumulus Boost. Get a boost, get found, get on the map. Learn more at cumulusboost.com.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Are you a victim of the timeshare trap and think there's no way out? I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, the original timeshare cancellation expert. And I'm here to tell you that there is a way out. We've helped over 30,000 families out of financial hardship by getting them out of bad timeshares. If your timeshare agreement goes on forever, if you were told timeshares are a great investment, or your maintenance fees will never go up, you have questions, we have the answers. At Wesley Financial Group, we're dedicated to helping timeshare owners get out of their financial nightmare. All you need to do is give my office a call. I will send you a timeshare exit information kit absolutely free, explaining how the timeshare industry works and your options for cancellation.
Call now for your free timeshare exit information kit. Call 800-951-6464. That's 800-951-6464. 800-951-6464.
DK on the Sports Tip, 3 to 6 weekdays.
Is Charlie Woods the most anticipated, follow in the footsteps child of an athletic Hall of Famer we've ever had? Bronny James, as good as he may be, still has to compete within the parameters of a team sport. Golf is individual. Dale Earnhardt Jr. came along just at the beginning of the social media era. I don't know that there's anybody else.
Wildcats Radio 1290. DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290.
520-848-1290. 520-848-1290 is the number for you to get in on this program. You can call us at that number. You can text us at that number. You can head on over to Twitter and vote in our question of the day. Who's going to win the NBA Finals? Will it be the Boston Celtics? Will it be the Dallas Mavericks? We did not get a second Dallas team into the finals in the NHL. That did not happen. How about Edmonton?
Don't they have enough right now?
How about Edmonton? We at least have Edmonton, a team that long-suffering team that has made it into the finals that we can cheer for.
Yeah.
We'll get a little bit more into that series
Go
coming
Canada.
up here. Yeah, so the Edmonton Oilers are in. Again, right now, 54% saying Boston, 46% saying Dallas. We'll pose that same question with the NHL tomorrow or Thursday. Again, shorter shows this week, full show today. Shorter shows tomorrow. We'll actually be ending the show about this time tomorrow, Thursday, and potentially Friday to carry the Women's College World Series games. The Game 1 and Game 2 will be tomorrow and Thursday, and our coverage from Westwood 1 will begin at 4:45 with the All-Arizona Wildcats broadcasting crew of Ryan Radke and Leah O'Brien Amico. So looking forward to hearing those two folks again. They called the game today on the Westwood 1, a walk-off home run for Oklahoma as they come back and knock off the Florida Gators to get back to the National Championship Series once again. All right, 520-848-1290. Let's go to the phones. Let's talk to Doug. Doug, you are on DK on the Sports Tip, Wildcats Radio 1290.
Hey, what's up, fellas?
What's going on, Doug?
It was good to see you out at High Corbett, David. The weekend didn't go quite the way we wanted it to,
but you were out there working hard, Doug. I was like right above you on Friday night, and I was like, Doug is down there trying to get this thing happening.
I did what I could, yeah. Baseball is just one of those fickle sports, kind of like hockey or something where, you could play as hard as you want, but it's like almost sometimes the harder you want it, the worse you do, the worse you play. So, no, just to kind of do a little quick retrospective on baseball, I'm right there with Michael Lev and you guys. And by the way, props to Michael. He's done a great job the whole sports calendar. He's done such a good job covering all the sports for us. I really enjoy it. I subscribe to the online Daily Star, so I get all his articles, and I recommend that for people. So I'm just going to put in a little shout out for that. Support local journalism.
Absolutely.
Always.
Yeah. But there are plenty of people out there that report on sports, but they're not all trained as journalists, and he really is. You could just tell from his writing. He's a good guy, and right up there, just like Bruce Pascoe, and we've got some talented people in this town. So
we definitely
I just wanted to show appreciation for that. So with baseball, you think about how we started the season, under 500, playing in the Frisco Classic down there in Texas, and tough competition, but didn't really get the wins that we wanted, and the town wasn't really paying too much attention. And I'm right there. I have to say I'm right there with that, because I usually just have all my adrenaline going for basketball until, the end of March. And then I start slowly recovering from losing in the tournament and start paying attention to baseball and softball around, late April, maybe. So I don't want to say that makes me a fair weather fan. It's just kind of how my cycle of the sports calendar goes, right?
Yeah, I think that's pretty much everybody's cycle. We were just coming out of basketball. I think that weekend they played UCLA, and that was kind of the beginning of the walk-offs. Even at that time, my whole thing was I knew they could pitch. I was like, if eventually they hit, this team will be pretty good, because they were losing a lot of close games. I said they're going to hit eventually. They just weren't hitting much early, and that's kind of what began to happen as the hitting caught up with the pitching as we got into that mid-March, late March cycle as coming out of basketball. So they actually hit the accelerator at the exact right time when people were starting to kind of pay attention.
That's true. Yeah, they went on the big winning streak and got like sweep after sweep after sweep. It was pretty magical. And so, I always say this during basketball season, but just don't let everything be hinged upon the postseason national tournament, because there's so many other milestones during the course of a sports season to enjoy and remember. And for me, this team's always going to be special because we won the last sports championship of any kind in the Pac-12. Regular season and tournament. And I went up to Scottsdale for that championship game, and it was electric. U of A versus USC. It was so fitting, facing a team that's got the most championships in college baseball history.
How were you feeling there in the sixth inning?
I'm there with one of my buddies that lives in Phoenix, and we were just looking at each other like, all right, which one of us is the jinx here? Because we're getting no hit through 6 innings. So, but I literally said to him, like, this is what we've been doing, though. We've been putting ourselves in a hole, but then fighting back in the late innings. And sure enough, it didn't take much. We strung together a couple ugly runs and tied it at 3, and then, set ourselves up for the game winner at the end. So, I was not feeling great, but that's what makes the walk-off all that much more special, is that you start getting that pit in your stomach like, oh, today's not our day. And then they win it, that makes those wins even more fun, right?
No question about it.
So to me, the Grand Canyon and Dallas Baptist games were real stinkers. Obviously, we couldn't pitch or hit. And that was really surprising because, Candiotti and Walty have just been so solid for us. But they just, especially Candiotti, I'm not, I love the kid, but, he was having a hard time finding his spots, I think. And then, for whatever reason, Dallas Baptist was seeing Walty pretty well too, and then just our bats just couldn't connect at all. We couldn't hit the slider or anything. But again, I'm not going to let that linger as my memory of this season. I mean, this is a team that overachieved, and I think it lays the foundation to attract new recruits. And I've got a lot of confidence in Chip Hale. And I mean, this guy, as I like to say, he's forgotten more about baseball than most of us will ever know about baseball.
That is true.
So
he's been around a long time.
He also says his best classes are this year and the next year.
Yeah.
That's the big takeaway as well.
That's great.
Well, it's tough
with baseball, you always have to worry about guys going into the draft.
Yeah, getting drafted. Yep.
Of course, but it's tough when you take a job.
Campus,
it's tough when you take a job, especially when you haven't had one in college in some time during that COVID year. Because, I mean, you're talking about trying to get into living rooms, trying to develop relationships and all of that. So with the success, clearly, the best is it's a bright future. Let's put it that way.
Absolutely. And then you look at the new, fertile recruiting grounds that are being opened up by joining the Big 12. And then I'm sure we still have plenty of connections to West Coast high schools. So I think there's a lot of reason for optimism with that program.
I thought after this year, there are no sports out west after this year, right? Like there's no sports west of us after this, right?
There's not a major conference out west, but there's still kids going to high school out west. And
there better
be. Snatch them up.
Yeah, I mean,
someone's going to snatch them up.
I mean, just the general student population at the University of Arizona has been a large portion of Southern Californians to begin with. But if you want to count up the number of athletes, they better continue to recruit Southern California.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, you can't just let them go to the Big Ten or something. So, so I think if anything, it just sort of doubles our recruiting base because you can still focus on the West Coast, and in football you can still focus on Polynesia and so on. But then it opens up Texas and a little bit of Ohio and Florida and Oklahoma and all those areas. We'll be in that footprint, and so especially coming off one of our best all-around sports seasons in school history. I mean, it really is. I got a chance to talk to Brian Jeffries in the post game after the season-ending loss. He was just in between, like on a commercial break, so I didn't have much time. But he was just also putting his hands up like, what a season this was across the board. 10-win football season, Pac-12 champs in men's basketball and tennis and baseball, and making the softball super regional. Just a lot to hang our hats on. And we've had other years where one or two of those has a great year, and then the others are kind of laying an egg. But to have so much success, it's going to spoil us because it's not going to always be like that.
Yeah, I wish I could let go of the postseason disappointment a little bit like you have, Doug, but it's harder for me.
I don't know, especially in basketball. You've heard me talk about this, but to me, it's a crapshoot.
Yeah.
On a given day, some guy goes 0 for 9 from 3, and then your season's over, and that's not really a measure of how good you were on the whole season. Was it Auburn that lost in the first round, right? Kentucky lost in the first round. That doesn't mean that they were, not in the top 32 teams in the country. It just means on that day they sucked. Pardon my language, and I don't think if we play Grand Canyon 5 more times that they're going to beat us every time, or Dallas Baptist. But we just, it just wasn't our day, and so I just don't put all my eggs in that basket. I just look at the as they say in the selection committees, I look at the full body of work, as a fan, and I think, do we have anything tangible that we can walk away from that season with?
Yeah.
With basketball, we walked away with a win at Duke. We beat Michigan State. We beat Alabama, who went to the Final Four. We won the Pac-12 regular season, all these things. I can list them all off. But, tennis and baseball, all these great accomplishments. And I just don't let that other stuff get me down, because if the only way you'll ever be happy as a college sports fan is to win, major championships, you're going to be let down like 95% of the seasons, right?
That part, Doug, is absolutely true. Hey, we're at the top of the hour, Doug, but we always appreciate your call, man.
Good to talk to you. Enjoy the off season, and I'll try to stay in touch here and there.
Definitely. Doug in Tucson, one of the best Bear Down fans you're going to find out there. I mean, he was working hard, J-Dub, at the game on Friday. He had him up. He had the chance going. crowd of 8,900, 700.
In my
great.
45 years around the University of Arizona, I've met a lot of passionate fans. But I do not think I've ever met anybody who cared as much as Doug. And it shows, right? If he's up on the dugout or he's up, running around the concourse at McHale with his face painted, getting everybody up out of their seats. He cares. He cares that everybody in the building is making noise so that the team has as good an opportunity as possible to feel that love from the community. And that's what he tries to contribute and does contribute every single time he's out there. Really does a great job getting the crowd, trying to get the crowd up and chanting, even though during those dull moments. That's what Doug's always been about.
All right, 520-848-1290. Much more coming up for you in the 5 o'clock hour. We will let you hear from Kennedy Carter and what's the other girl's name?
Angel Reese.
Angel Reese. Thank you. I always forget Angel Reese's name. We'll let you hear from them coming up and what they had to say about the incident over the weekend with one Caitlin Clark. It's DK on the Sports Tip. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it is Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. Kolb and Speedway and Kolb roadwork and backups for eastbound and southbound travel at Kolb and Speedway. Crashes reported 29th and Kolb, Miracle Mile in Fairview, also Wilmot north of I-10. 71 the low, sunny, 104 tomorrow, and 100 now. And I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by KFC. Introducing KFC's $10 Tuesday. Get 8 hot and juicy drums and thighs for just $10. Taste it for yourself. Every Tuesday, only at KFC. It's finger licking good. Prices and participation vary. Tax, tips, and fees extra.
Sean Furrier for Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. If you're driving right now, you may not be thinking about your tires, but chances are they've been tested before. Like that time you swerved to avoid the stray shopping cart that rolled into the street from nowhere? Or when you had a green light but did some extreme braking because another driver decided to turn left in front of you? And we've all had to navigate monsoon downpours that turned our streets into Arizona's largest slip and slide. At Jack Furrier's, we've helped Arizona drivers navigate these extreme moments for over 60 years with the right tires, the best deal, and a huge in-stock selection of the brands you trust. And now's the time to save big with the most rebates we've seen all year on the brands you love, like Michelin, Cooper, and Uniroyal tires, with up to $100 back all month long. And Jack Furrier cardholders get back another $30. Check out jackfurriers.com for details on all our sizzling summer savings. So for all those critical moments where your tires make the difference, check out Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care.
We get you so close to the action at McHale, it feels like Wilbur and Wilma are in the car with you. This is the home of Arizona men's basketball. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textplan.us. Texting enrolls for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stop, opt out.
Attention. If your teen or preteen is or has been addicted to Instagram, Snapchat, or TikTok and been treated for eating disorders, body image issues, anxiety, depression, or suicidal thoughts, you may be eligible to participate in a lawsuit for significant compensation. Text SOCIAL to 323232 for more information. Disclosures by multiple Facebook whistleblowers suggest Instagram knows their social media platforms are highly addictive and cause eating disorders, body image issues, depression, and suicidal ideation, but have done little to stop it. If your family has been impacted by social media addiction, you could be eligible for significant compensation. Text SOCIAL to 323232 if you'd like to discuss a lawsuit. Text SOCIAL to 323232. Text the word SOCIAL to 323232.
Paid non-attorney spokesperson Motley Rice, attorney Jennifer Guy is responsible for this ad. Motley Rice LLC is headquartered at 28 Bridgeside Boulevard, Mount Pleasant, South Carolina 29464.
Good news, everybody. We stay on the air with you for an extra 2 hours after every Arizona football and men's basketball game all season long. That's why we are the home of the Wildcats. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Hey, good morning. You're heading the airport, right?
Yep, thanks for checking. I like the car. How long have you been a rideshare driver?
About 3 years now. I really enjoy it.
Isn't it hard to make money these days with the price of gas being so high?
Not for me. I use Upside, the free app that gives you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get real money back when you get gas with the Upside app?
Yep, I get real cash back every time I get gas.
Does that actually add up to anything?
I'll make around $200 to $300.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app now to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code SCORE for an extra 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. You can cash out anytime, right to your bank account, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code SCORE for a 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code SCORE.
He's kind and he's funny and he's also mustachioed. He solves all your problems by the end of every episode. TV Dad. Everyone loves TV Dad. TV Dad. Unlike your real dad, he never hollers. And he tells you how Progressive can save you lots of dollars.
Listen to your TV Dad. Switch to Progressive and you could save hundreds. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Potential savings will vary.
The roar of our engines, the pump of our heartbeats, the pedal to our metal, the sparks that ignite us, the pistons that push us, the passions that drive us. From the feelings that move us to the places that pull us on the roads that unite us. With nearly 6,000 stores and over 17,000 auto care centers, Napa has America's largest network of parts and care, here to keep you firing on all cylinders.
Remember, the one and only play-by-play home for Arizona Athletics is 1290. So if you're listening to Arizona football, men's basketball, and baseball, you have it locked on 1290. Wildcats Radio 1290. KCUB Tucson, a Cumulus media station. We are the sports station that Tucson turns to for all the latest news when it comes to Arizona men's basketball, along with all the play-by-play action. We are Wildcats Radio 1290. Live from the CNWT.
From the what?
Central Northwest Tucson, duh.
It's DK on the Sports Tip with your host, David Kelly.
Radio. Just when I thought I was out, they drug me back in.
Featuring J.W. Madden.
Don't tell me about flip-flops, man. I'm a native.
And Cricket getting you home with traffic and weather.
Camp on Melt Lemon, not in the left lane on the freeway.
Here we go! And now, a man who has not one, but three first names. David Scott Kelly. Diamondbacks download.
Baseball stuff! Baseball stuff!
All right, we're a little bit into the 5 o'clock hour. We're just running behind schedule today, but we'll give you your Diamondbacks download. The Snakes are back in action tonight at home against the San Francisco Giants, who have a half-game lead in the standings on the Snakes. San Francisco is 29-32. Arizona is 28-32. The Diamondbacks lost 5 straight games. They lost the last game of their last homestand, the first 4 games on their road trip, but they were able to win the last 2 games of the road trip and last night over San Francisco. So they've won 3 in a row, and they've been doing it with the long ball. Let's go back to Saturday. It was Christian Walker.
Chance for a big 2-out hit for Walker to kind of make up for some missed opportunities earlier in this inning.
Swinging a high drive deep to left field. Nimmo going back at Hill. Watch that one sail out of here. Grand slam, Christian Walker. And the Diamondbacks hang 4 on Minaya and the Mets here in the 3rd.
Christian Walker has 12 home runs this season, tied for the team lead, tied with a guy by the name of Ketel Marte, who hit 1 in the first inning on Sunday and then hit another in the 9th inning.
This might be the at-bat of the game for the Diamondbacks. 2-2. Swung on and hit deep to center. Going back on it is Bader at the track, at the wall. It is gone. Marte, his second of the game, gives the Diamondbacks the lead. And it's now 5-4.
have a day, Ketel Marte. 5 times to the plate, 5 times on base, 2 home runs, double.
Ketel Marte, would you believe this? And this is, wow. I mean, this is an astonishing number to me. In terms of players on the Diamondbacks who have enough at-bats to qualify in the statistical categories, Ketel Marte is the Diamondbacks' leading hitter at 270. 270. That's the highest average of players who have enough at-bats to qualify. Now, Blaze Alexander's hitting 279, but he only has 111 at-bats on the season. Ketel has 237. That's nuts that there is not a player on this roster in the everyday lineup that's hitting over 300 this season. That's part of the problem right now for your Arizona Wildcats. So they won the last 2 games in New York, came home last night, and it was tied in the 9th against San Francisco.
Pavin, more of a contact hitter, but really possesses a good eye at the plate, especially in high leverage situations. Here's the 1-0. Swing and a drive deep to center field. Going back, Yastrzemski onto the track, onto the wall. Gone! Pavin sends him home as he hits one towards the moon. And the Diamondbacks win by a final of 4-2.
Pavin Smith with your walk-off home run last night at Chase Field. Tonight it'll be Blake Watson for the Snakes. No record at 216 earned run average. He has pitched limitedly since being called up from AAA. Kyle Harrison will go for the Giants. He is 4-2, a 4.15 earned run average. Diamondbacks are the favorite in this game on the money line at minus 125, minus 200. If you take the Diamondbacks and lay the 1.5 runs in this game, your over-under tonight is 9.5 at minus 130, 640 first pitch.
Would it shock you to learn that Ketel Marte is 42nd in Major League Baseball in batting this year?
42nd.
At 270.
Yeah.
270. You said 279, but he's listed at 270 right now.
No, I said he was 270. I said Blaze Alexander was hitting 279, but he doesn't have enough at-bats.
270, 42nd, DK. Currently, there are only 10 players hitting over 300.
Wow.
10 players in Major League Baseball hitting over 300. So maybe it's not just the Diamondbacks.
Are all the balls and humidors?
I don't know, man. I know they made some rules changes with like some shifts and stuff, but not enough to affect it that much. That's the fewest I've ever seen. I mean, we're only maybe a fifth of the way through the season, sixth of the way through the season, but still, 10 players over 300 right now.
So let's get that offense going. It's starting to warm up. Maybe the bats will start to warm up around professional baseball. We'll see. How about a Wildcat birthday today? You know who turns 37? How about Money Mike Thomas? Happy birthday, Money Mike Thomas.
4th and 19. So far, Weber's done a good job kicking the ball away from Thomas. Here's the snap and gets it off. And it's a little short. Thomas on a bounce over the shoulder, makes the catch, comes back to the near side, gets a block, turns the corner 45, needs one more. Mike Thomas at the 10-5, touchdown, Arizona.
And the crowd goes wild. Money Mike Thomas, untouched up the sideline for a touchdown. Big time play by Mike Thomas, one of the best premier punt returners in the country. He got open, got up the sideline. There was nothing you could do about it once he gets in the open field.
That is one of my favorite calls because it came from my first season here. Money Mike Thomas, one of my originals, in 2008, the Territorial Cup game. Lamont, I still remember that like it was yesterday. Happy birthday to Money Mike Thomas, who is 37 years old, had an NFL career as well, went on, left Arizona. I don't know if you remember, he caught a Hail Mary touchdown for the Jacksonville Jaguars at the end of a game against the Houston Texans for a win. Came back and appeared briefly with the Arizona Cardinals as well. But Money Mike Thomas, what an exciting young little player he was for the Arizona Wildcats back in the circa Mike Stoops era of 2006 through 2008. Territorial Cup game there, which was won that night by the Arizona Wildcats at Arizona Stadium. I remember the TV broadcaster that night, I believe, was Mark Jones from ABC, and his call was pretty good too. He said, "Money Mike Thomas, Cash Money Mike."
Yeah, I mean, come on.
Great stuff.
Punt return's the best play in football, I think.
Oh yeah,
especially untouched.
And that was, and you go back, and it's funny because it's a lost art now in college football. I mean,
Yeah,
you go back to the Mike Stoops era. There was a number of guys. You had Mike Thomas. You had Antoine Cason.
I grew up in the Chris McAllister era.
Yeah.
Okay, like that's was like my high school and college years. There were a lot of returns for touchdowns.
You had some guys that could return punts, but it's almost like, and I'm not saying they don't focus on special teams, but you just don't. I mean, I'm trying to remember the last one at Arizona, maybe Devontae Neal.
Yeah,
you might have to go back to Devontae Neal's being the last guy to return a kick for a touchdown. I mean, Bug Wright, I think, had one or two during the Stoops era there. Or Bug Wright might have been Rich Rod at that point. But, yeah, you just don't get that play as much anymore. And I can remember some big Arizona games in that in the aughts, 2000 to 2010, that turned on punt returns.
Yeah, I mean, even before then, like I said, the Tomey era was all defense and special teams, right? So it's like if you could, play the field position game and get your punt inside the 10, and then turn that thing around by returning a punt or a kickoff or whatever. Yeah, it's all about it.
All right, we'll get to break now on time, so you can hear coming up from one Kennedy Carter and one Angel Reese, who finally met with the media on what happened with Caitlin Clark over the weekend. It's DK on the Sports Tip. Cricket is getting you home every 20 minutes on the fives with your traffic and your weather.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. With collisions that are reported 22nd and I-10 reported on 22nd Street at I-10. Stone and River. Stone to the south of River Road. Also Speedway and Mountain. 29th and Kolb is clearing. At Speedway and Kolb, some pretty significant backups there due to road work. For eastbound, mostly southbound, slowing Kolb and Speedway. 71 the low, sunny 104 tomorrow and 100 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Discover. As humans, we like having options. One option you might like is speaking with a real person when you call about your credit card. With 24/7 live U.S.-based customer service from Discover, everyone can talk to a real person anytime, day or night. Limitations apply. See terms at discover.com/credit card.
Do you need your home repiped? Having trouble with your water heater? Leaking toilet? Have you ever thought about an instant recorded seweroscopy? Then call Economy Plumbing Service at 885-3510. Because if water goes through it or to it, we do it. Economy Plumbing, 885-3510.
DK on the Sports Tip, 3 to 6 weekdays.
Working on my hockey lingo.
You're doing that. You're learning quick.
Do you know what icing is?
I love icing. That's my favorite part.
Yeah, it's the best part of hockey, isn't it?
Don't miss out on all the fun.
Are you ready to adopt? Come to the Humane Society of Southern Arizona. When you adopt from us, you will save more than one life. You'll also make room for the next pet in need. The Humane Society of Southern Arizona has been compassionately serving pets and the people who love them since 1944. Our knowledgeable adoption matchmakers will help you find the right pet for your home and support you after you adopt. We are open 7 days a week at our main campus at 635 West Roger Road. Learn more and see adoptable pets at hssaz.org.
Sean Furrier for Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. If you're driving right now, you may not be thinking about your tires, but chances are they've been tested before. Like that time you swerved to avoid the stray shopping cart that rolled into the street from nowhere? Or when you had a green light but did some extreme braking because another driver decided to turn left in front of you. And we've all had to navigate monsoon downpours that turned our streets into Arizona's largest slip and slide. At Jack Furrier's, we've helped Arizona drivers navigate these extreme moments for over 60 years with the right tires, the best steel, and a huge in-stock selection of the brands you trust. And now's the time to save big with the most rebates we've seen all year on the brands you love, like Michelin, Cooper, and Uniroyal tires, with up to $100 back all month long. And Jack Furrier cardholders get back another $30. Check out jackfurriers.com for details on all our sizzling summer savings. So for all those critical moments where your tires make the difference, check out Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care.
Thank you for calling Alaskan AC. Now.
Thank you for calling Alaskan AC. Now.
Hey guys, what are you...
Gotta take this. Thank you for calling Alaskan AC. Now.
Thank you for... Uh-huh. Right. You don't say. Uh-huh. Now.
Hold it. What's with all the nows?
People want to know the best time for an elastification.
And you're telling them...
Hello? Now.
Well, there's no bad time for elastification, but the best time is now.
Pretty soon, Arizona temps are going to put a strain on your AC.
Now is really the best time.
You're not telling people about all the money they save?
Now.
Or how Alaskan AC will make their AC last longer?
Now.
Or the big 1-year guarantee that their AC will not break down?
Thank you for calling Alaskan AC. Well, Ron wants to tell you a bunch of stuff. I know. That's kind of what I told him. Okay, thanks. Oh, by the way, now.
The best time for elastification is...
now.
Schedule at AlaskanAC.com. Now.
Are your kids going to climb your walls this summer? Let them climb the walls at Rock Solid Climbing and Fitness instead. Rock Solid Climbing and Fitness is offering full-day summer camp for ages 7 to 14. Kids will do everything from play games, socialize, throw water balloons, make art, and of course, rock climb. Coaches will provide safety and skills instructions to get every participant climbing to new heights. Camps run Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. with morning and evening extended hours available. Rock Solid is now accepting reservations for June and July. Don't miss out. Visit rocksolidclimbing.com for more info or call them at 520-222-6228. That's 520-222-6228.
And this Friday, we've got a sweet deal for you from Rock Solid Climbing and Fitness. You can get a week of climbing camp for just $169.50, originally $339. That's half off. And this sweet deal will go on sale this Friday morning at 8:30 at WildcatsRadio1290.com.
Wildcats Radio 1290 is everywhere. Wildcats fans can listen to us everywhere on our all-new app. Now available from the Google Play Store and the App Store for iPhone users. The home of the Wildcats is everywhere. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
Westwood One presents Today in Women's Sports, sponsored by T-Mobile. Congratulations to Simone Biles, who won her 9th U.S. Gymnastics Championship last weekend. She took home the gold medal in all 4 of her events. She is now the first gymnast, man or woman, to win 9 all-round national titles. Biles has now clinched a berth in the U.S. Olympic trials and is expected to earn a spot on the team for this summer's games in Paris. After withdrawing from most of the Tokyo Olympics back in 2021, Biles took a 2-year break from competition. She dominated in 2023 and earned her 3rd AP Female Athlete of the Year honor. The 4-time gold medalist is at the top of her game with a return to the Olympic stage looming.
I think that was the hardest part after Tokyo is I didn't trust myself to do gymnastics. I knew that it would come if I started training again, but it was really hard to trust just myself.
With Today in Women's Sports, I'm Olivia Harlan-Decker on Westwood One.
With T-Mobile, you can get tons of benefits and still save because nobody likes having to choose. It's like getting romance and sci-fi.
I love you. Also, I'm a robot.
At T-Mobile, you can get the benefits you want and still save on every plan versus AT&T and Verizon. See how with our savings calculator at T-Mobile.com/switch. Plus, switch and keep your phone. We'll pay it off up to $800.
Via virtual prepaid card in 15 days. Qualifying unlocked device credit service and timely redemption required. Card has no cash access and expires in 6 months. See T-Mobile.com.
Some people just know the more you protect, the more you save with Allstate. Because they know insurance math. Like if you protect your home and auto, Allstate can save you up to 25%. So it's like losing money if you don't bundle. Save more when you protect more. Bundle home and auto with Allstate today.
Bundled savings vary by state and are not available in every state. Saving up to 25% is the countrywide average of the maximum available savings off the home policy. Allstate Vehicle and Property Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290.
520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. All right, I want you to hear this entire press conference with Kennedy Carter and Angel Reese. It's about 13 minutes long just because it was very fascinating to hear these two young ladies discuss the situation that happened with Caitlin Clark over the weekend. So we'll listen to this. We'll have another break after that, and then we can talk about it a little bit on the other side. But here are Kennedy Carter and Angel Reese, Kennedy Carter. It starts with Angel Reese talking about her jumping up, which Jada was talking about earlier in the show. Her jumping up and cheering when Kennedy Carter made the foul on Caitlin Clark.
Just having my teammates back. Me and Kennedy are super competitive, and just having that competitive edge, I love my teammates, and I'm always going to have their back, so it was just competition.
I think we see a lot of that similar competition expressed by Kennedy, expressed by yourself in the NBA. We see a lot of players have their teammates back.
Yeah.
We see a lot of players commit aggressive fouls. What's your thoughts on the changing the dialogue in the W to embrace that more?
Yeah, it's just competition. I mean, I feel like that fuels our fire. How me and Kennedy were kind of brought up, how me and Kennedy play our games. We go off of energy, and we're a dynamic duo where we come off a lot of energy, and we're just super competitive every single day. So hopefully that translates obviously to the WNBA, but I think we've started and done a great job being able to continue that.
Kennedy, for you, what was that moment between you and Caitlin?
I think at the end of the day, I'm a competitor. Now that it's another day, I've had an off day. Now I can answer your questions and I can let you know how I really feel about things. But I'm a competitor, and I'm going to compete no matter who you are and no matter who's in front of me. So that's just what it was. Heat of the moment play. We're getting at it. We're going back and forth. It's basketball. It's all hoops. After we finish the game, it's all love.
Do you have any regrets on how it happened and everything that's happened since then?
I don't have any regrets with anything. I'm going to compete and play 100% hard no matter who it is, like I said, or who we're playing. No, I don't have any regrets.
Did you realize this was going to become a big national story?
It has become a big national story. We've had things that have been thrown into hoops like racism and just different things thrown to players that shouldn't even been brought up. This is a game I love. This is a game I'm passionate about. And at the end of the day, I'm thankful that I'm able to display it to everybody. And if you're going to watch the game, watch all of the game before you make opinions. Just watch the whole game and get to know the players. Those that saying you don't know players, you haven't watched the WNBA. Get to know your players that are already here and already in this league and already trying to make a mark.
Did you, the chippiness that was going on before, because that was there, do you have any, was there a moment before that?
No. I think I got hit in the head the play before, and it was just like one of those things that was in the heat of the moment. You know, I don't know Caitlin. I don't know her from anywhere. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, this is hoops. It's competitive, and this is basketball. And you're playing against somebody like me. I classify myself as a dog. So if you're gonna throw a punch, then I'm gonna compete with you. I'm gonna play at the level that you're given. So that's just the player that I am. But go ahead.
When you say get to know the player, what are you referring to? I'm assuming as
I'm just seeing a lot of things of fans just not understanding who I am as a player. You have to understand me as a person too, and don't just look at one tape and form an opinion about me. I'm truly a passionate person about the game, and I'm genuine. You can ask all my teammates. They've got to know me. They know the real Kennedy Carter. So I'm just saying, don't form an opinion off of one little clip, and you didn't even see the whole game and or the play that led to that.
You gotta realize all of us have a story. And Kennedy has been out of the league. I've had a story behind me. People are going to have their misconceptions about each one of us on this team. And that's what makes it so special. Bringing each other together, I think I wear that on my shoulders. Kennedy wears that on her shoulders because everybody doesn't get this opportunity. So when we go out there and play super hard, compete every single day, it's not personal. Yeah. I promise you it's based off of our stories and where we've come from. Yeah. We've come from so many different places that you guys have never seen or would never understand. So just being able to go out there and play with that chip on our shoulder every single night, that's just what we do and that's just who we are. And you have to accept that.
Yeah. Okay. That conversation with Teresa, though, she said she followed up with you and had a conversation. Is there an understanding about, maybe there was a line that was crossed in terms of that particular?
There's no line. I'm competing. I'm going to compete. I've already let you know. I'm going to compete. If you're going to throw punches first, I'm going to compete. It's all love. It's basketball. This happens in the NBA. Actually, I'm focused on New York now. I'm not really focused on that play anymore. It happened, okay? It's just a basketball. It just happened. Like, it's over with. I don't know why we're dragging it, but we continue to drag a play that happened, and a whole fourth quarter happened after that. Multiple events happened after that, guys. So we just got to let that play go.
But the fact that the league waited a day to upgrade to a flagrant foul, that extended the time of this play.
It still happened yesterday, and I'm on today. I've had a great practice. I've had a great off day. I've hung out with my teammates, and I'm loving how the Sky and Angel and everyone is having my back, and I'm having their back, and we're standing together on this. We're all unified. We're all on the same page.
Angel, there seemed to be an understanding what happened a week ago with you and Alyssa, too, that you embrace that moment and you think all the rookies should be ready for that and be able to.
Everybody in the league should be ready for it, not just the rookies. I mean, coming into a league that is super competitive with amazing talent here, like, I wasn't coming in here expecting it to be easy because of the name I have. I'm playing for the name in front of me. I'm playing with the letters across my chest. So understanding that, understanding what that comes with, we all we got, we all we need, and understanding that we have each other's back through whatever. My teammates have each other's back. I know they wanted to be there for me, obviously, when I got yanked down and just be there for me. They were super competitive with me. They were talking to me on the bench, like just being able to get up and just be who I am. Like a lot of people wouldn't be able to get up and do that. Yeah. I have a strong mindset. I've been through so much in my career. That is like very minimum to me. Like that is literally nothing to me.
So Kennedy then, going on social media, is that something that you feel like was part of the competition, sharing your thoughts about Caitlin's?
I think that this is just hoops. I think that at the end of the day, it's all about basketball. It's all love. You know what I'm saying? That's it.
So shit talking on social media is part of it?
Just talking in general. I think that, again, it's all hoops. As you see, everybody went on social media and let us know their opinions. So it's just all hoops, man. It's all fun. I don't really take it serious. It's just jokes.
Do you have any regrets not addressing it right away, though, because it's been dragged out?
No, I don't have any regrets not addressing it right away. Let me tell you guys something. I'm a person that when something happens, I need time to get my thoughts together. Heat of the moment answering is not probably the best answer. So for those who wanted a heat of the moment answer, I'm actually glad I didn't give you one. I'm glad you guys came today and actually asked me and just asked me how I felt, and here I am. I'm letting you know.
And then Angel, we know obviously you faced the fine for not being available to the media. I guess in that similar tone, how do you balance obviously the obligations with making sure you're answering questions from the right frame of mind?
Yeah, I mean, obviously everybody knows here that has interviewed me ever that I've been great with media and I've always taken on media. Obviously, I'll take accountability for it, but it was a lot of miscommunication within the media, the timeline of everything. So obviously, trying to make time for media I've always made time for all of you guys, and obviously that was something on my behalf that I wasn't able to do at that moment just because of the timeline of it. But making sure moving forward that I make sure I take time out for you guys as well. But my family came. I had a lot going on as well because everybody comes to see me as well. So I want to also see my family too. So.
Do you look at this moment as being a galvanizing moment for this team?
I think it brings us closer.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think this is a moment that brings everyone closer and it gives the league a chance to unify. You know, all of that stuff that happened, it's really just great for our league. It's great competition. We're two great players competing on a national stage. Of course, Angel's out there competing too, but it's all love and it's just hoops. We got to understand that. Even though we are girls, we love this game. We're passionate about it. Guys, I was working hard in China and Turkey to come over here and play. I love this game. I bleed it.
I was going to ask you that because you've had your rookie season previously. Is stuff still going on, or is it now just being brought to light because of the added attention?
I think so many people are watching women's basketball right now. It all started from the national championship game, and I've been dealing with this for 2 years now. And understanding, negative things have probably been said about me, but honestly, I'll take that because look where women's basketball is. People are talking about women's basketball, but you never would think that we'd be talking about women's basketball. People are pulling up to games. We got celebrities coming to games, sold out arenas, just because of one single game. And just looking at that, I'll take that role. I'll take the bad guy role, and I'll continue to take that on and be that for my teammates. And if I want to be that, and I know I'll go down in history, I'll look back in 20 years and be like, yeah, the reason why we watching women's basketball is not just because of one person. It's because of me too, and I want y'all to realize that. It's not just because of one person. A lot of us have done so much for this game, and Kennedy has been here before, obviously, but there are so many great players in this league that have deserved this for a really, really long time, and luckily, it's coming now.
So there are a lot of people who took that physicality in the Fever game and were like, this could be a turning point for the WNBA in terms of how people talk about physicality. Do you guys see that as potentially being a turning point play moment?
I think everybody's always physical. I mean, everybody talks trash. I was just saying, Atlanta was aerial power. She was just talking. They was
doing the same thing.
They was doing the same thing. Yeah. When I got choked and yoked up, y'all didn't say y'all listen to me.
It was not. But when you got choked and yoked up, you didn't have all of the backlash and you didn't have all the things that we've dealt with. We've been able to take a lot of hits, guys, in the past 24, 48 hours. I'm on here smiling. I'm not complaining, but I'm putting in hard work, and I know that this team, Angel, our owners, and Jeff, they all have our backs. So that's why we're in great spirits right now.
So right now,
Did you see like a lot of people sharing videos of like old plays in the WNBA, like real physical stuff?
Man,
Did you see that on that?
I was looking at that. I mean, I've been watching the WNBA for a very long time. My teammates have shared experiences where they have gotten their nose broken.
Yeah.
Like, this has been going on for a long time.
I've had an experience where Alyssa Thomas has actually chipped one of my ankle, and we're cool to this day. Like
it's competitive, bro.
Yeah, man. Like,
you
that's
can't
just
pick
how
and
it
choose
is.
like who can get touched and who can't get
Yeah, you
touched.
can't.
Everybody can get touched.
Yeah,
Like,
including me. Any day, I can get touched as well, but I'm gonna make sure that I'm always gonna bring it. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
Do you think part of like the response on social has been because officials just didn't call it? Like, had officials called it, do you think it would have been a different response?
Called what?
Like, called it a flagrant in the moment.
I mean, I don't really think that makes a difference. Literally, the play that happened to me was even worse. Like, so many people could say that people were saying she could have been suspended. Like, I don't even take that into account because I know she's just a great basketball player, and obviously it was just a basketball play. Like, it just depends on who it is. And obviously we've sat here and just continued to be who we are. And I think just growing the game, everybody's going to be treated the same and should be treated the same. So just moving forward, we just want to move forward from this and just continue to play who we are, play Chicago basketball. We love being here. Yes. We love our teammates. We love the coaches. We love this organization. And we're going to continue to have pride in that.
Do you understand that? But what happened with you, it was a flagrant 2 and she was ejected. This was different.
Yeah, but do you still understand that she was still choke slammed on national television?
I know that.
Like a hip check versus a choke slam?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to have my teammates back.
So you believe that it should have been a flagrant 1?
No. It was a flagrant 2, and that was called right away where the call wasn't made for you until the next day.
Okay. So what are you asking me?
Yeah.
Well, I'm saying that you see the difference, that what people are seeing the difference in what happened with you, because people recognize what happened with you was definitely wrong and should not have happened. It was a flagrant 2 called.
She's taking accountability for what happened, and we've moved forward from that. Obviously, she probably won't do that again, and she's moved forward from it.
Yeah.
We don't have any regrets. We're moving forward from it.
Yeah,
it's a basketball play. It happens all the time in different sports. When you chug somebody, I can pull up multiple clips. It happens.
At the end of the day, it's all love. Outside of basketball, when we're in those 4 lines, it's smoke. After, it's all love. I promise we're a genuine team. We're a genuine person. We didn't hit her like she was out on the streets. It's just
Have you seen me hit
basketball.
JJ when we were in New York and I bumped her and she bumped me back and laid me down? That could have been a flagrant 1 too.
I know.
It's the same. It's just you can't pick and choose who gets flagrant 1s and flagrant 2s. We can't. It's basketball.
But at the same time, me being the player that I am, I will move accordingly with certain players that you just can't even draw back and forth with, and we can't have a good time. So I will move accordingly from this situation.
Oh yeah, I guess I might have missed the executive. Like I think it was kind of what Cheryl said. Your play was like.
All right, that is Kennedy Carter and Angel Reese. That was yesterday after practice. Some good stuff there. A very entertaining press conference. I wanted you to do the whole thing because, again, sometimes you hear bits and pieces online, on social media, but I wanted you to hear the full context of what they had to say. And again, I had one issue with something that Angel Reese said there. We'll get to that coming up in our final segments. DK on the Sports Tip. J-Dub is here. Cricket is here, getting you home every 20 minutes on the 5s with your traffic and your weather.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather together. Colbin Speedway and Kolb Road roadwork. Heavy backup southbound and eastbound at Colbin Speedway. Crashes clearing 22nd Street at I-10, a collision Stone and River on Stone Avenue south of River Road. 71 the low. We've got sunny skies 104 tomorrow and 99 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather together.
This report is sponsored by Cool Willie's Air and Plumbing. At Cool Willie's Plumbing, they'll help you with drain cleaning, water treatment, sewer repairs, and replacements. Trust the big guy. Contact Tucson's most respected plumbing experts at CoolWillies.com, where they are big enough to help and small enough to care. That's CoolWillies.com. CoolWillies.com.
Do you need your home repiped? Having trouble with your water heater? Leaking toilet? Have you ever thought about an instant recorded seweroscopy? Then call Economy Plumbing Service at 885-3510. Because if water goes through it or to it, we do it. Economy Plumbing, 885-3510.
Thank you for calling Alaskan AC. Now.
Thank you for calling Alaskan AC. Now.
Hey guys, What are you...
Gotta take this. Thank you for calling Alaskan AC. Now.
Thank you for... Uh-huh. Right. You don't say. Uh-huh. Now.
Hold it. What's with all the nows?
People want to know the best time for an elastification.
And you're telling them...
Hello? Now.
Well, there's no bad time for elastification, but the best time is now.
Pretty soon, Arizona temps are going to put a strain on your AC.
Now is really the best time.
You're not telling people about all the money they save?
Now.
Or how Alaskan AC will make their AC last longer?
Now.
Or the big 1-year guarantee that their AC will not break down?
Thank you for calling Alaskan AC. Well, Ron wants to tell you a bunch of stuff. I know. That's kind of what I told him. Okay, thanks. Oh, by the way, now.
The best time for elastification is...
now.
Schedule at AlaskanAC.com. Now.
DK on the Sports Tip, 3 to 6 weekdays.
Is Charlie Woods the most anticipated, follow in the footsteps child of an athletic Hall of Famer we've ever had? Bronny James, as good as he may be, still has to compete within the parameters of a team sport. Golf is individual. Dale Earnhardt Jr. came along just at the beginning of the social media era. I don't know that there's anybody else.
Wildcats Radio 1290.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies candidates with the right skills, sends you great matches, then you can easily invite them to apply. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. See for yourself. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try ZipRecruiter for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Is switching your wireless service to Total by Verizon easy? Totalmente. Now you can get 50% off any unlimited data phone plan. That's one line for only $25 a month, and you keep the phone you love. Hurry, this is a limited time offer. So find a store or switch suavemente at TotalByVerizon.com. Offer ends July 31st, 2024. Promo subject to cancellation after 12 months. Available exclusively online and in Total by Verizon stores. Requires a compatible unlocked device and SIM. See TotalByVerizon.com for device compatibility and additional details. Taxes and fees may apply.
What's keeping you from learning the language you've always wanted to speak?
Too hard.
Takes too long.
Not with Babbel. Babbel's interactive lessons, podcasts, games, and more make learning fun.
Fun isn't hard.
Right. And in 10 minutes a day, Babbel's bite-sized lessons are designed to get you having real conversations in as little as 3 weeks.
That's not long.
It's not hard.
It's perfect.
It starts here. Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's BABBEL.com. Babbel.com.
This is an announcement to all United States vehicle owners who own a 2003 or newer vehicle with a manufacturer's warranty about to expire, or no warranty coverage at all. With a struggling economy and the cost of living on the rise, Endurance is now offering an affordable, low-cost vehicle coverage plan to the general public. As of today, you could be one of millions of drivers that now may qualify to have your vehicle protected under this coverage and have all future covered auto repairs paid directly to the repair shop for you. You pick your plan. You pick your deductible. You even pick the repair shop. Roadside service, towing, and rental coverage is included. Get your vehicle protected now and save your wallet from costly vehicle repairs. A toll-free number has been established for you to call for your free 5-minute quote and to see if you qualify. The number to call is 800-290-1583. 800-290-1583. Again, that's 800-290-1583. Coverage, deductibles, and claims may vary. For details, go to endurancewarranty.com.
DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290.
520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. Want to tell you about a sweet deal I've got for you. Rock Solid Climbing and Fitness. You can get 1 week of climbing camp for just $169.50. Normally, it's $339. So that's half off the price for a week of climbing camp at Rock Solid Climbing and Fitness. This sweet deal will go on sale Friday morning, 8:30 a.m. right here at Wildcats Radio 1290. Rock Solid Climbing and Fitness is offering full-day summer camp for ages 7 through 14. Kids will do everything from play games, socialize, throw water balloons, make art, and, of course, rock climb. I think I would just go for the throwing of the water balloons part. Coaches will provide safety and skills instruction to get every participant climbing to new heights. Camps run Monday through Friday 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. with morning and evening extended hours available. Rock Solid is now accepting reservations for June and July. Visit rocksolidclimbing.com for more information. Again, this is a sweet deal. It's going on sale at 8:30 a.m. on Friday at Wildcats Radio 1290. Rock Solid Climbing and Fitness, a 1-week climbing camp opportunity for you. Normally $339. This sweet deal, though, is giving it to you for $169.50. All right. Before the break, we played you the press conference, Kennedy, Carter, and Angel Reese. I want to go back to the one major thing that Angel Reese said in this press conference and the one major problem that I have with what Angel Reese had to say here.
People are watching women's basketball right now. It all started from the national championship game, and I've been dealing with this for 2 years now. And understanding, negative things have probably been said about me, but honestly, I'll take that because look where women's basketball is. People are talking about women's basketball, but you never would think that we'd be talking about women's basketball. People are pulling up to games. We got celebrities coming to games, sold out arenas, just because of one single game. And just looking at that, I'll take that role. I'll take the bad guy role, and I'll continue to take that on and be that for my teammates. And if I want to be that, and I know I'll go down in history, I'll look back in 20 years and be like, yeah, the reason why we watching women's basketball is not just because of one person. It's because of me, too, and I want y'all to realize that. It's not just because of one person. A lot of us have done so much for this game, and Kennedy has been here before, obviously, but there are so many great players in this league that have deserved this for a really, really long time, and luckily, it's coming now.
So now she wants to be the bad girl. Now she wants to be the bad girl. After she got up on that dais and cried after LSU lost in the NCAA tournament about how she's being attacked and people don't understand and I got to live with this and blah, 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 blah. Now I'll live with this. I'll be the bad girl. That's cool. That's the problem I have with Angel Reese. Angel Reese wants to, every other day, she wants to change the narrative. Either, and I said this back when she cried, either you're going to, if you're going to be that girl, then be that girl. Okay? So now, if you're going to be that girl, like you just said yesterday, you're going to be that girl. I'm going to be the bad guy. I'm cool with that. 20 years from now, people will be looking at me and saying, oh, yeah, look at women's basketball. We were talking about it. Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark, whatever. All right. So if you're going to be the bad girl, be the bad girl. Just don't come crying to me the next time that things are not going your way. That's the problem I have. That's the problem I had with Angel Reese in March or April or early April when they got exited by Caitlin Clark. And that's the problem I have with her now, with what she said there. Because she's done this before. She said before, "Oh, I can take it. I'm going to be that. That's who I am." So if that's going to be who you are, then I don't want to hear any more crying when things get bad for you in social media, when things get bad for you in the media. You just said you're the bad girl, so be the bad girl. Because there's no more crying in the WNBA for Angel Reese. 520-848-1290, 520-848-1290 if you want to get in on that. Let's give you our Desert Diamond Casino replay for today.
And now, the best thing you will hear all day.
Hachi-machi!
It's time for the Wildcat Radio Replay. In case you missed this earlier in the day, we now bring you the best of 1290. It's made possible by Desert Diamond Sportsbook, Arizona's best bet.
All right, we were talking to Brian Jeffries earlier today. It is officially summertime for Mr. Jeffries. What is summertime all about? All right, what's on the vacation plans for the summer?
We're going to probably go up to Northern California and drink some wine at some point.
That sounds really good.
That's been on the bucket list, and so I think that's happening. We've got a couple other little things that we're talking about, just but nothing really in concrete yet. A lot of it just trying to, because you don't know when the baseball season's going to end, and it's really hard to plan for the month of June. And so I just leave June open. And now that it's over, in fact, we were just talking about that the other night, saying, okay, what do we do now until July when we have a trip planned? We got to find something else here. So there's I'd say close to 400 weeds in my backyard that I have not pulled as yet. As you know, we had a very wet winter, and I just have no time. And so I've been staring at the window, and I went down to the local home improvement store today to buy a piece of equipment, and I'm going to tackle the backyard. That is going to be my first vacation.
There you go.
If you'd like to help, by the way, guys, if you'd like to come by and help, I'd be glad to, supply some soft drinks and what have you.
There you go. The honeydew chores have got to get done during the summer.
Could you pick a week that isn't 107 to ask for help outside, maybe?
Yeah, I'll be up at 5 a.m. I'll hit it and get as much done as I can before it hits 95 or so, and then call it a day after that.
Are you planning to be in Vegas for the pack or the pack? I got to train my brain now. The Big 12 football media days.
Yeah, I forgot about that. That's on the docket as well. That'll be a 2-day venture, and you're right. How many times are we going to say Pac-12 over the next couple of months? Because when you get that, I remember how long it took to get away from Pac-10.
Yeah, right.
And so, that took a while, and I know, I'll be slipping several times, but that's part of the excitement of going into this new conference is to meet all the new people. That was one thing about leaving the Pac-12 and leaving Scottsdale is saying goodbye, and there weren't a lot left because the office is down to really the Pac-12 office down to a bare minimum. But saying goodbye to those people because you've known them for years, they've been a tremendous help to you. They have a research department over there that I think is the best that I know of. I've talked to some of my counterparts at other conferences, and they said they didn't have anything like that. And say goodbye to those guys and all the help that they provide for every sport every year. That's the tough part. Now, to flip that over again, now you're excited to meet the new people. I know a couple guys out of the Big 12, so it'd be great to see them and meet the new people. And from my understanding, from what I've been told and what I've experienced so far, that the conference is extremely well run, and they're excited to get the new schools in and get going on a new tradition here in the fall.
That was the Wildcat Radio Replay with the best of the best from 1290. It's brought to you by Desert Diamond Sportsbook, Arizona's best bet.
That's the benefit of living in a condo, J-Dub, is we don't really have to do yard work.
Yeah, a guy just comes around with something on his back and he sprays a bunch of stuff. You got to worry about those backyard weeds, huh?
Exactly. That's usually Friday morning, and it usually happens kind of early. So if you want to sleep in, there's what do they call the snow blow, the blower.
Yep.
You can usually hear it. That's the thing that wakes me up sometimes on Friday mornings. At least when I was in TV, and I used to sleep in a lot longer than I do now. Now I'm awake at like 7:30 most mornings. So.
I'm just trying to picture what kind of contraption he bought from the store.
Yeah,
that's really like
exactly.
Is there smoke bellowing out of this thing? Is this like a motorized? I don't know what that is, but.
I have no idea. You know what's happening tonight in Tucson, J-Dub?
Tell me.
The Tucson Saguaros are opening up their home season, the Pecos League home season. They actually played, I think, 4 or 6 road games already. So they are back home for a 3-game series against a team called the Pecos Bills. I don't know who they are. That sounds like maybe a league team of some sort.
I'm going to guess Texas.
I don't think. Is there a city called Pecos, Texas? I don't know if there's a city associated with the Pecos Bills. We'll find that out. But either way, they're home the next 3 nights out of Keno Memorial Stadium with games at 7 o'clock. So Tucson Saguaros baseball is back. They are one of the best teams in the Pecos League. They routinely go to the finals. We'll get with Sean Neal, I believe, is the manager. We'll get with him and get him and some of his guys on throughout the summer, and we'll have to get out there and catch a game for sure coming up. So head on out there tonight, 7 o'clock first pitch out at Keno Memorial Stadium. Pecos League Baseball the Pecos Bills and your Tucson Saguaros. They'll be home, it looks like, pretty much all month. They're home next weekend, the weekend after that, and the weekend after that. So you'll get 3 straight weekends.
River
Pecos
is a river in Texas.
Okay.
And that's the area.
Is that where this team is from?
Yes.
There you go. See, you always come up with the geography of life.
I'm good at typing.
West. All right, coming up tomorrow. We didn't get to this today, so we'll get to it tomorrow. We'll let you hear from Bijan Robinson in OTAs in Atlanta. He's dealing with a little bit of an ankle injury. So we'll let you hear from Bijan as he's talked a lot about his relationship with Kirk Cousins, his new quarterback, and what he's learning from Kirk Cousins, who might be just old enough to be Bijan's dad, according to Bijan. All right, that's going to wrap up our show for today. Thanks to Brian Jeffries for joining us. Thanks to Michael Lev for joining us. We'll have a shortened show tomorrow. We'll have, of course, the College World Series for you, Women's College World Series. Game 1 starts at 4:45. We'll have that for you right here on Wildcats Radio 1290. For J.W. Madden, for Cricket, my name is David Kelly. That's our time for tonight. Thank you very much for your time. Have a great Tuesday evening.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. Colbin Speedway still the spot for some backups, road work. Heavy backups southbound Colbit Speedway, some slowing on eastbound Speedway at Kolb. Earlier collisions 22nd Street at I-10 and also Stone Avenue south of River Road. The low 71, 104, sunny tomorrow and 99 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Bank of America. Bank of America has powerful digital solutions for local and global businesses, so you can make every move matter. Visit bankofamerica.com/banking for business to learn more. Bank of America N.A. Copyright 2024.
Escape the ordinary and indulge in a world of excitement at Park Place Mall. Discover endless possibilities with over 100 stores, restaurants, and entertainment options. Join them for the monthly Kids Club, Yappy Hour, and seasonal events. From fashion to food, it's all at Park Place Mall, where you belong.
Hi, you know me, Scott Lehman from ScottSaysYes.com. Check out this month's Wildcats Radio 1290 Community Calendar powered by Premier Auto Center.
Visit the Wildcats Radio 1290 Community Calendar at wildcatsradio1290.com to find out what community events are coming up in the Tucson area. You can also find Wildcats Radio 1290 events, upcoming sporting events, and more. Get the details and get involved with our community at wildcatsradio1290.com.
Go to ScottSaysYes.com today.
Your home for in-depth conversation.
Nothing they do is by surprise. They telegraph what they want to do, and then they brag about it afterwards. It's a way to keep us at each other's throats.
The most pressing issues.
This was just a white-on-black crime, and you can already see the narrative starting to form in real time.
And fresh perspective.
The air marshals will not be on the airplanes because they're down at the border escorting illegal aliens to their Ubers.
America's most loved truth tellers live on Tucson's home for conservative talk. This is Freedom 1400. We get you so close to McHale, it sounds like the Arizona Pep Band is riding in your back seat.
What the hell is going on?
This is the home of Arizona men's basketball. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
This story is called The Ugly Truth About Timeshare. If you think you've done your family a favor by buying a timeshare, you need my help. Hello, I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. 10 years ago, I started helping folks cancel their timeshare. In the process, started what's now called the timeshare cancellation industry. The ugly truth is when you buy a timeshare, you can't tell me how much it's going to cost or when it's going to end. I recently helped a couple that had their maintenance fees go from $800 to $3,200 a year. They also received a $4,000 assessment for a hurricane that was over 1,000 miles away. Sound crazy? The crazy thing is, this never ends.